like ballerina outfit, white stockings, and white high heel shoes. I'm like, what the?
Hey,
Young or old?
come.
Oh, middle age.
Oh my
Alex is
God.
here.
Oh, like, what are you doing? Then a guy,
Now you know why he doesn't have a boyfriend.
she,
She doesn't
yeah.
have a boyfriend.
Then a guy came with his mother.
This was when?
I was in my 20s that time.
So I was doing it for 2 years, a total of 1,000 events. So I was like, oh,
And how many found the perfect match?
not that we know of lah. We didn't want to, yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
This is Hubert Tang.
Hey, hi, pleasure. And you are? Alex, nice to meet you, pleasure.
And that's Annie.
Hi.
Annie's the organizer. Annie Chan. Yeah, she know Annie Chan, right? On
If you don't know her, do you know anybody?
Or anyone?
Annie Chan. So we're gonna be here. And then the man behind the camera is there. That's Malik. So it's just the three of us that will be at this.
Alamak.
At this Sorry? No, it's not my studio. I wish it was my studio. Malik, do you want like go this studio? No, he's asking me whether this is my studio. No, I wish. So beautiful, right? Such a dream come true. Come, Alex.
So I brought a jacket. I'm not sure. I don't want to overdo it also, but I thought,
It'll be good. It's fine.
huh?
It's fine. It's good.
If it's okay with you,
Yes, I think it's good.
I follow your advice.
I will. You wear the jacket. I'll be. If I'm not too fat. Am I too fat? And then. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Come,
we're not too
please.
fat, but very fat.
Okay, don't stress me out.
That's why I need to lighten the mood, right? I
I'm-
get very stressed.
I'm
So
with-
I'm just lightening
I'm
the
with
mood.
Alex, okay? I'm very stressed.
Why? Why not?
I'm so stressed for what?
Let me first mute that thing.
Yes. We're gonna do some test of the mic first.
Okay, later we take off the mask for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I think so. If you wish to.
Yeah, I think it's better.
You sure?
Huh? Yeah, I think it would be awkward, right?
Yes, it will be fine. That's what we're gonna do. I still have batteries in my bag.
I hope I'm not. I mean, my prayer line maybe first the thing a bit because I know it's for you called Persona podcast,
Yes.
but I might talk a bit critical about persona because a persona is the mask we are wearing, and
Good. Bring
Yeah.
out that. Feel free to bring out the question. We've got about 10 minutes. That's the clock for
Mhm.
us. And then at the exact 10-minute mark, the thing will kind of blink in our
Mhm.
face, and then it will explode.
this is so awesome. Now I get nervous
No,
because it's so professional everything.
I hope so.
I was so cool and relaxed. Now it looks so
I hope you do.
professional and people watching, and now I'm really nervous, man.
No, come on.
Okay.
Don't be nervous. We are here to
I'm good.
cheer you. We
Nearer or what?
remind you to smile.
You want nearer, right?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
for me
Personal,
the
right?
key critical thing. Yeah, you know me well already. I'm not smiling enough. Okay, how we wanna sit? Cool, relaxed,
Well,
close to the mic.
This is okay. This is good.
this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
wanna be a bit.
I feel very stressed. I'm stressed. I've got a boss there. Alex is my boyfriend.
How do you know? How do you know?
No, I'm just using an analogy. This is what I used to do. So it's like you are boyfriend and girlfriend, you talk to each other like that.
We just ignore you guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's just like a porn movie.
Porn movie?
No, no pressure.
Yeah, go on, Malik.
No pressure at all.
Nobody's watching, don't worry, carry on.
Oh, I wanted to take out my glasses.
Oh my god.
When I put stuff here, you don't see it, right? Or
Okay, so
I wanna
this
take.
is your white shot.
Yes.
So if you are addressing the viewers, you just want to view here.
One of viewers.
For viewers.
Oh, okay.
This is the double. Okay, this is for yours. Okay, purely.
Oh, Jesus.
So it's multi-frames. Okay. Whenever you're talking, let's say you're sitting down and you're talking to the mic, you want to bring, you want to talk as closely as possible to the mic itself.
Okay.
So you can talk, look at each other and talk. Hi, how are you? This one, but you want to bring yourself closer to the mic.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll adjust the mic for you. You let me
Yeah.
know what's the comfortable height, and I'll just.
No,
Is
how
this
do you
alright?
want to sit me first? Maybe that's
It's okay. It's
yeah.
as
in a-
casual as possible.
Okay.
Height. Is it
Oh,
okay?
Jesus, guys. Yeah. I try to ignore, but I try to ignore the mic, right? Or
Yeah, just speak normally. You can. No worries.
Don't worry, I feel the same way.
huh?
I feel the same way.
First session.
I need
This can
alcohol.
be seen. Yeah. Sure, sure. Now I switched your mic.
It's not seen, right? Also seen, ah?
White, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, when you go white. Okay. Thank you, thank you. I can't just take this. Thank you. Thank
Okay, here's me, here's
bro.
him. So when do we look
you. At each other?
at
Never.
Elijah? Hmm?
There's no time when we will.
Yeah.
No, all the time, I think. Today we have Alex Tross. Dr. Alex Tross.
Okay, so here.
Don't worry, we can retake this anytime.
No, Malik, quick for me, because I never worked with 3 cameras. What is more natural with when do I talk to him? When do I look? How?
Most of the time, you can actually just talk to him. So
Okay.
you can face him, be as natural as possible.
Yeah.
Let's say if you want to address to the general masses, right? Then you just look at the front.
Okay.
Don't even bother about the center. Just
Okay.
look at this camera frame.
So just this one and this one,
Yes,
most. Okay.
that's it.
Okay. You are the man.
That will be the last part where I would ask you if Alex could leave a message with all our listeners. What would that be? Then you can then face the camera. At the end of the whole thing, I'll just say thank you very much. And then we'll just pause for about 5 to 6 seconds and then we're done.
Ladies and gents, before we begin, please make sure your phones are on silent. Thank you.
Done already? Give me another minute, please. I have to really.
Okay. I'm outside, can let me in. Hey, Chris is outside. Rose can talk to Chris.
You all listen to you, okay? Make it sound the loudest.
Oh, I love it. Fine. Yeah.
A dream come true, isn't it?
Yeah. Alex. Roll 8,
my.
take 1. Oh, Jesus. I'm so excited. But the target is to make it in one shot, or?
Yeah. Yeah. One. Sorry.
The target is to make it in one shot.
Yes. Yes. Don't worry if you feel like cutting it and then we can restart.
Bye, thank you. Okay, we're gonna start now. So what I'll do is I'll say Design Thinking episode 8, Alex. I'll clap, I'll move away, I'll count 3, 2, silent 1, and then you may begin. Once you begin, the timer will start. Okay? So you'll be doing the opening address, right?
Yes.
Very nice. Ellie, okay? Stand by? Yeah. Good. Alright, all stand by. Design Thinking, episode 8, Alex. In 3, 2,
Welcome to Persona Podcast, kindly brought to you by Design Thinkers Academy and the Design Thinking Asia Conference 2022. Every week, we will speak to a different person to find out about what he does, why he does it, and how he has pivoted from it. Today, we have Alex Trost. Thank you, Alex, for joining us today. Welcome to the show.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Tell us, Alex, tell us a bit about what you do and what made you start doing this?
What I'm currently doing is following my mission to make a positive difference in the life of people. And I try to do this by coaching, facilitating, consulting companies. And what made me do that? It was actually a long journey of corporate life, quite exciting life, where eventually I asked myself, what is this all about? And I realized that the best moments in my life was always when I worked with people, when I could develop them and interact with them. I took a career break, studied some new topics, moved a little bit from left brain to right brain, learned about coaching and psychology, and I'm very happy where I am now. And actually, then I checked in with my name. I believe there's always a lot of meaning in names, and my name is Alexander, which is kind of the defender of mankind. And I find this suits very well now with my mission of making a positive difference in the life of people.
Tell us about a time when you felt that biggest success in making that life different for a particular person.
For a particular person, the biggest success. I mean, what is success? Maybe even to start with. Again, the word success comes from Latin succedere, which means to follow. And I think we always have success when we follow something. And I think success is not so much about how much money we make or how high we are in the corporate ladder, but do we follow a true calling? So therefore, whenever I can help people to maybe follow their true calling and make them more in tune with their life and make them feel more balanced, then I feel that they are successful, and then that makes me very happy.
So I've got this question. Have you found your true calling?
I have found my true calling, I think, in making a positive difference in the life of people.
What does that mean today for you in a daily life?
In a daily life, it means, I mean, again, I don't want to overly come with Latin words, but what is it even making a difference? The word different, again, comes from Latin disferre, which means to carry something away. So I think in order to become different and to make a positive difference, we have to carry ourselves away from the person we became over time. And I think we don't really realize how much society has formed us to a certain extent, and also how nurture has programmed us in a certain way. And people get stuck somewhere in this, who they became, with that identity they became. And that's why I think now maybe more than ever it's important and helpful to poke people a little bit, to have some provocative statements and some lateral thoughts from the side to make them think, to maybe push them a little bit away from who they became to become someone different.
Was Alex stuck somewhere before?
Was I stuck before? I mean, what is being stuck? I mean, for sure, there are always moments where you ask yourself, am I on the right track? Why am I all doing that? I was even sometimes questioning, am I worth all the money that I'm getting in the corporate world? But eventually I realized I was actually always my main enemy. So whenever I was really stuck, it was actually because of myself, that I put either too much pressure on myself, that I took constructive feedback as criticism rather than as a well-meant suggestion for improvement. So I think the best way to unstuck yourself is to take yourself less serious, which took me a while to do so. To be able to start laughing about yourself, and eventually, and maybe most importantly, to forgive yourself. I think we all make a lot of mistakes during life, but once we realize that the best lessons learned are actually from mistakes, and once we take that lesson and we forgive ourselves for that mistake, then that's where real transformation happens. And I also believe only then we will be able to forgive other people. Yeah, I think only once. Sometimes it's so difficult to forgive others because we have not really fully forgiven ourselves yet.
Well, I won't ask you about forgiveness at this moment, but when was the last time you laughed at yourself? Tell us that time.
I mean, honestly, I make it sometimes a little bit artificial now, that I just stand in front of the mirror and laugh about myself. Because by nature I'm not a very humorous person. I'm also a little bit introvert, so I have to find my own way to laugh about myself. So this mirror exercise is something quite good, which I try to do once a while. And the other thing is to be more conscious that when people are saying something which maybe previously would have irritated me, that I just laugh about it.
How do you do that? How do you actually stand in front of a mirror and laugh at yourself? What do you say to yourself actually?
I just stand and I use so funny, and then all of a sudden you start laughing, yeah. Once you see yourself smiling and you make maybe funny faces.
I'm just imagining how does that feel like when someone walks in and you're brushing your teeth and you go laughing in the mirror?
This is always happening behind closed doors.
And what happens at home then? Oh, okay. Well, why is Alex laughing in the toilet? Is something wrong?
He has his moment again. Yeah.
Well, tell us a bit more about self-forgiveness you mentioned.
Tell us more about self-forgiveness.
Yeah, forgiving another person, you need to forgive yourself first.
Yeah.
What's that really mean?
I think it's human nature that we can memorize, unfortunately, the drastic events much, much more than the happy ones, right? And then they always come back. We get always reminded. And I think the main thing of forgiving ourselves is whenever it pops up, to say, okay, we have been there. Yeah, thanks for reminding me again. I took my lessons, and now let's go. And let go from that thoughts and push it away.
That's really beautiful to think about past experiences. I'm guessing you're saying recalling back when was the last time this happened to yourself, and have you forgiven yourself for that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the sad thing is we don't have to actively recall it, right? The brain always makes us remember it and brings it back. And that's why I say, well, sometimes nature is fooling us by showing us sometimes the negative things, and even how we hear sometimes things. We always read between the lines and are overly critical when people are saying something, always ready to fight back somehow, yeah, which is in our nature, whereas sometimes we should just freeze, take a deep breath and relax, and don't take it so harsh what either now somebody else is telling us or what our inner ego is telling us, where we should now get bothered and all hyped up about.
Well, thank you very much for sharing with us about this today. Alex, if there was something you could leave for our listeners, please let our listeners know.
Yeah, I think we all go through rough times, and if I had a wish, I would really wish that we come more together again as a humanity, as one society. We are currently very creative in constantly creating new categories for humanities, putting everyone in a box, and everybody insists so much for being in their box. But I think as human beings, there's much more that connects us and combines us rather than that divides us. And if we would all come together again and saying that humanity is our biggest common denominator, and that we really celebrate humanity, that we are there for each other, forgiving each other, having fun to each other, and really celebrate being humankind, which is a beautiful name because it means to be humane and to be kind.
Thank you very much, Alex. So, Alex, if someone wanted to look for you, what can they do?
What can they do? Thanks for asking. Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn, Alexander Trost. Then there's also Advisor, my website, atvisor.com, advisor.com. And then I guess through you.
Thank you very much. And you've also written books.
Yeah, I've written 2 books, one on general management, which is quite outdated, I think, meanwhile, and more recently something on self-coaching, which is called Intentionally Becoming Different. So quite suitable to also your podcast series today. Yeah, and thanks again.
Well, thank you very much, Alex, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Wow.
Did we hit 10?
On the thing, man.
10:40. Wow. Oh my gosh. Next challenger leh. No stress.
Good conversation.
Really?
Alex, I resonated with a lot with what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw totally different questions. So I was now 0.0 prepared. I hope it wasn't
That
too
was perfect.
stumbling.
That was perfect.
But sometimes it's the best if you are not prepared. Yeah.
Exactly. That was really
It
good.
was, yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Okay,
very
cool.
much. Join us again.
Yeah,
We can
I do
join us
for.
in
I can't stay too
Yeah,
long,
you can't
but
stay too long.
definitely.
Yeah. Have a Chris. You cut hair?
No.
Have you met Chris pula? Have you met Chris? Alamak. Come, Chris. This is Alex.
Hi.
This is Chris. Chris, I'm gonna start the same way. Wait, you managed to see, right?
No.
Oh, you
Yeah,
didn't see,
I
huh?
did.
You managed to see. Okay, so I'm gonna start the same way, asking you about what you do and why you do it today. Ow.
What I do?
Wow,
Wow, that's
cut
a
my
tough
bone.
one.
Bone, do you hear my
What I
bone?
do a lot of things. Which one should I say? Which one should I say I do?
I would feel about that time. I think going back to that time.
No, but what do you want me to say? What I do?
Well, you
Which persona you want me to have? The I add one, the safe to go one.
already wear already, what? You already wear your veteran already.
Or today I come as this.
That's why you wear veteran, what? So if you want to, tell us a bit about what
Okay,
you
maybe what I'll do is I'll just say that I'm one of the C2D ambassadors.
see to what's that?
Commitment to Defense ambassador.
Commitment. Oh, nice. Wow. Okay.
I'll come in that capacity today.
Okay.
How about that?
Too high, ah? Okay.
I'll come in that capacity today.
Can.
Okay.
Perfect.
Sounds
And
good
then
then.
you could bring back a bit of that experience, and I'll say probably what was that pivotal moment. Should
Like
we go
that
down
day,
that, Should we go down that pivot? I'm
We
just-
can.
I wanted to save that for because 10 minutes are very very short,
Exactly.
very short. So
I know jumped in on you today.
yeah.
so that's me.
No, but
Spontaneous, right?
beautiful. Right? That's beautiful. We could go down that.
I'll tell you what.
Is there another one?
I think we can go down to that pivotal moment because that wasn't my only pivotal moment.
Really? There's more? Nice.
Right?
Okay.
Because you remember it's the whole journey.
Yes.
Because you can even talk about how I self-healed from PTSD, but that one 10 minutes tough.
Right.
But we can talk about that pivotal moment. I can give the context of Koran burning incident
Oh my.
that led to
Okay.
the lockdown.
Wow. Okay. Okay. That's beautiful. The end of this would be you kind of talking about your mission today. Yeah. What is your life mission today? And because what they want to hear is the pivotal moment and then your life mission today. That's how we try.
That's still work in progress.
Don't worry. If it is something that is work in progress, then what are the little things that you're doing today to kind of
Get there.
Get
Sure.
there, lah.
Okay.
All right.
Then after this, I have to run off. lah. Can, right?
Can.
No, lah, I made a commitment to you, so
Thank you for coming over. My goodness.
especially you call.
Yeah,
so
lah. Walao eh. Thank you.
Okay. So Mr.
Chris.
Malik.
Malik,
So what you're gonna do is this camera is purely just on you.
okay.
Just center you.
I won't be looking at it, will I?
No worries.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be looking at him.
That'll be good. Okay. So what will happen is I'm gonna clap the clap.
Yep,
will
I understand.
say, Design thinking, Chris at 9. I walk over. I'll count 3, 2,
I-
1.
I saw that part. Yep.
That's great. Once we're done, we're gonna hold for at least 10 seconds so I can capture the ambient sound, the silence, so I can relay later.
Okay, so when you capture that one, are we supposed to do anything?
No need. Just keep
Just
quiet.
stare in each other's eyes,
Stare
lah.
at each other,
Okay.
deep in thoughts, that kind of thing.
Okay, sounds good.
The last part where can we find you is for you to just talk about what you do, where can we find you, and about what you do, especially like if it's the safety and the
Actually, can I have a suggestion? You should cross your leg the other way. From a body language point of view. It means you're hiding something. See, that's why I point towards you.
Alright, James? Good?
Can smile, right? We start by laughing
Oh gosh.
at Alex's suggestion.
Alright, Design Thinking episode 9 with Chris. Stand by. Right, in 3, 2.
Welcome to Persona Podcast, kindly brought to you by Design Thinkers Academy and Design Thinking Asia Conference 2022. Every week we will speak to a different person to find out about what he does, why he does it, and how he pivoted from it. Today we have Christopher Low. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks, Daryl.
Hey, Chris, tell us a bit more about yourself.
Okay. Well, first off, Daryl, thank you for inviting me over. And I have a nickname, so you can either call me Chris or my nickname Stranger. I'm here today in the capacity of Commitment to Defense Ambassador as part of the SAF Veterans League. Some quick background is I used to serve in the Singapore Armed Forces as an artillery officer for almost 24 years until I had to early retire in 2013 following a deployment to Afghanistan.
Thank you very much, Chris. Well, and welcome to the show, and thank you for spending that little time with us. Tell us about what you do today and why are you doing it today?
So, Commitment to Defense is, or short for C2D, is an initiative started by the Ministry of Defense as a form of tapping into the experiences of veterans who have especially deployed in overseas operations to share and relate the stories to the younger generation in support of total defense messages. For me, it has been sort of a catharsis of sorts to be a C2D ambassador, which was started 6 years ago. It has been a catharsis for two reasons. The first reason was it helped me provide a platform. It provided me a platform to allow for the release of a lot of suppressed emotions. And more importantly, the second reason was through that release of emotions to connect back with the experiences, it actually helped me self-heal from PTSD. Yeah.
PTSD.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, I never really realized that I would be one to go through that condition. I only discovered it probably 2 years back in about 2015 after I had left the army. And I know now the attributable reasons for my condition was I was deployed to Afghanistan from January to May of 2012. And in those short 5 months, I actually experienced many near-death experiences and life-changing moments. And that whole 5-month journey sort of made me receive different experiences, totally out of my comfort zone. But more importantly, two very, very significant events happened that caused me to see my life flash past me. First was during February, 22nd February, during the time of the Quran burning incident. As a team leader, I was on the ground. And for those who may not be aware, what happened during the Quran burning incident was the Americans had to move some prisoners from an Air Force prison. And in the process, they found Qurans that were written with certain inscriptions. And in the process of trying to remove those artifacts, they resorted to burning. And it was discovered by the Afghan soldiers. And because of that, the whole of Afghanistan rioted following the Friday noon prayers. And that preceded a whole series of events that was probably the most violent period in the 10-year campaign of Afghanistan. And for me, it was also that incident that triggered my first lockdown experience. So in that lockdown experience, which was totally something I'd never experienced before, basically we were told to just stay inside the protected environment of the camp that we were staying in. And all we did during that moment was we kept receiving intelligence updates about the rise in violence, rise in green on blue incidents. Specifically, green on blue incidents means Afghan, a Taliban sympathizer dressing up as an Afghan soldier, infiltrating into a NATO compound, and then killing a coalition force soldier at point blank range. So in that, when the Quran burning incident happened, that sort of violence spiked 3 times. For myself as a team leader, I remember this lockdown experience was kind of surreal because I, on the first day itself, you felt very restless, you felt very uncertain because it's not something most of us will experience, especially from a peacetime country like Singapore. And I remember it was a very bright day. In my frustrations, I just decided to step out in my room, find a quiet place, and just sit there and just look up at the sky. And in that moment, this fleeting thought came to my mind, which was, wow, I now realize how prisoners feel. Because even though I had my freedom, but I was basically locked in by the HESCO walls that were surrounding and giving us protection. And I remember the sense of deep gratitude, because while I understood how a lockdown could feel from a prisoner's perspective, I felt thankful because here I was, unlike a prisoner who doesn't have that choice to step out as and when he wants, to even bask in the warmth of sunlight, here I was having that choice. And to me, that was one of the pivotal moments of learning to appreciate every little thing that life throws at you, good or bad.
Wow, thank you very much, Chris. Now, how has that framed you to what you do today?
I think foremost, what has helped me is just like how I even became a C2D ambassador, the spirit of volunteerism, because what I took away from that pivotal moment in Afghanistan was not to take the little things for granted, and to learn to appreciate peace and security and stability, things that most Singaporeans take for granted because we have been very successful for 50 years. And all I knew was I wanted to give back. And give back by telling this story of my Afghanistan journey. And what I did not realize then was because of this wanting to give back. Because remember, during this period, from the time I came back from Afghanistan, I very gradually, the body had to seek release. And because of that, my body slowly, piece by piece became broken. And when I became broken, emotionally and mentally, I also became broken. But as a senior officer and a commander, you don't show weakness. Because one good thing the military does so well is it trains us very well to become emotionless machines by suppressing the emotion and focusing on the mission. And I reflected just yesterday where we could do better, not just in the military, but organizations in general, is train people to learn to be empathetic humans, to learn to not suppress emotion, but really to bask in that moment of emotional pain or emotional joy or emotional happiness.
Thank you, Chris. Well, if you could leave a little message for our listeners, what would that be?
Especially in the recent COVID times, one key thing I shared with my kids last year when we were going through circuit breaker, right? You don't have to go to combat, because you can take it from Daddy here, or Chris here, or the stranger, that the circuit breaker that all Singaporeans experienced last year was the worst experience for me, as compared to all the lockdowns that I experienced in Afghanistan. And the reason I take away from that is because, all of a sudden, you're thrown in with the rest of your family together. Everyone is trying to grapple with new ways of working and being. And it's just very, very stressful. And it screws up your mind without you knowing. So please, if you think you could use some alternative perspectives to dealing with burnout or even mental wellness or well-being issues, give me a call at 9008-9832, or connect with me at LinkedIn, or reach out through Daryl. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Chris, or stranger,
Yes.
for keeping us safe. Well, we're very grateful for what you have shared with us today.
Well, I'm likewise very grateful, Daryl, for the opportunity to share this story. Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you.
the man.
No, but I had that epiphany yesterday.
Wow.
Military
Empathetic
trains us so
soldier.
well to suppress that emotion,
Wow.
to become emotionless machines, because it's mission focused.
Beautiful, beautiful. James? Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
Again.
Thank you, thank you. Okay. Thank you for coming all the way here.
No, thanks.
Last minute change.
My sudden drop in.
Thank you, thank you.
Everyone, thank you. Sorry I had to take off.
Chris, thank you for your story. I mean, it's like quite enlightening to hear that what the military did, and it struck me as well. Which is why a lot of war veterans come out of it very moody and stuff, not being able to hold those movies 4th of July.
It is true. It is true.
Yeah.
I mean, I shared with Daryl that during the Korean wedding incident itself, a lot of times you could feel that
Lai, James, Lai.
everyone and for like 3 days, I never slept well, I never ate well. But you don't realize it because you're mentally rationalizing the choice.
Lai, Lai, Lai. Later I introduce you all to them. Put your bag there, put your bag first. Take out your shirt. Oh, I thought you want to take out your shirt, show the abs all. Alex! Got photo or not, Chris? Did you manage to take photographs for us? Thank you.
I got a lot from the book. You can take a I will. Funny that you're an introvert because I'm also an introvert. I am too. Is it? But you know what? Later I can talk to idiots. And I'm an introvert. Yeah, we can stagger like sit and then some stand behind.
So we all have different pose.
Here's more space.
So how? Gotta put on our mask?
On.
Okay.
Mask on, please. Yes, here's so much space. Yeah.
To be politically correct.
Hi behind the tree.
Prone position.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Then you want individual speakers?
I'll selfie them lah.
Ah.
Oh my god, 100,000 big.
Thank you, Alex.
No, thank you so much. It's really a pleasure. Oh no,
Start
actually.
with Alex and then take with Chris first.
Yeah, I think we.
Yeah.
One by one. Because all separate mah, if not everyone jumping.
Still want to leave it on or want to sit there or without the mask?
Sorry, I'll let you rush off. I'd love to catch up with someone. So what do you think? Thanks, Chris. Yes, for sure.
No, it's really a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll let you know when.
Have a good weekend. Yeah. So I hope it's helpful. Okay.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Yeah, thank you.
Come, Chris.
Take care. Have a nice weekend.
See you, Alex. Good to see you, man.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this one can take out mask.
Oh, this one can take out mask.
Yes.
Alright.
As long as you sit,
Hold one row.
don't speak too soft, you are very soft.
I was very soft, eh?
Yeah, lah, 1 row lah. I said that's not narrow.
Hey,
We only hear the
you know,
main
you know who's my inspiration or not to this voice? Simon Lim.
No wonder lah.
Simon Lim.
Why you make the captain of your heart?
Yeah, exactly. It's the captain of your heart, what?
Oh, wait. Blah, 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 blah,
No, it's fine. Project more.
Sorry? Project more, huh? Okay, okay.
The sound imbalance, lah.
Okay, okay.
So it doesn't sound, you know, like suddenly somebody raise the volume to hear you, then there's balance up, talking then loud, then up. So you must think of the two outcome lah.
Got it, got it.
because you soft, they loud.
I soft, they loud. Okay.
Then the sound man also got like
James is my teacher. Yes. Bo jiak peng. Hang zao bo jiak peng. Hang zao jadi ai. Jiak burger. We had burger, not rice. Come. Why? You okay not?
pretty warm out there.
Don't cry, eh.
Pretty warm out there.
Yet.
Yet.
Yet lah. Bloody hell. Haven't bullied you yet.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Sorry, I need to move a bit.
You yet, no.
I need to move a bit because I cannot kelka. My kelka, I kick your table lah.
You position first, then I'll bring
Position first. Because it's not in kelka like hiding.
so how? Are we allowed to NG and then after that?
Can.
Yeah, okay.
Can. So far nobody NG lah. Can you don't stress him
so
lah.
fine. Somebody.
Got lah, actually
So far.
I NG before a few times. Tio bo?
Alright, so whenever you speak towards the mic, you want to bring yourself as close as possible to the mic. So you find a comfortable position first, then I adjust that.
I think nearer will be better.
This is good.
Yeah. You guys do a mic test first lah, you know. Yeah, whether you can pick up my voice in the first
Yeah, no
place.
worry.
Okay.
Can.
Okay.
Okay, so James, later I'm gonna ask you for your name and then tell us a bit about what you do today. Okay. Then after that, what was the moment that made you do what you do? So there must be a time that moment that made James became who he is today. And then I will start talking about from there. Finally, the last part would be if we needed to look for James, where can we find James? So there will be more of you introducing yourself, what you do, and then if you've got a website or a LinkedIn, you know, you can just say it lah. Or connect through us lah.
All right. Okay.
Okay? Now let's wait for Malik.
James, no problem one
He-
Well,
Every night he's on the Facebook Live, Sivo. I see Zoom Live every night.
no. Actually, not very good at lifestyle.
This one not live, this one not live, this one recorded. So don't worry. Feel free to NG and anything.
Oh yeah.
Okay, don't stress. Am I slanted? Thank you. Oh, the mic is a bit there, huh?
Abin?
Yeah, good.
Clear? You.
He's very soft one.
Blame Simon, okay? Blame Simon. If you can invite Simon, I would love to talk to him.
Okay, so what will happen, I'll just stand here, I'm going to say design thinking, James.
Oh my,
So
it might just come true.
I'll move away, I'll count 3, 2, silent 1, and then you can start. The timer will start, you have 10 minutes. You can overrun, it's fine. There is one camera that's fully focused on you. This is yours. It's just fully on you. Okay? When you're conversing, you don't actually have to look at the camera so much. Just talk to each other. At
Okay.
the end part, then you look at the camera.
Mhm.
Thank you, bye-bye, kind of thing. Okay? Good. All cam, audio,
Choto mate. So the last part, besides asking you where can we find you, there'll be a part where I ask you if you have a message for the listeners, what would that be? Then you can just look at the camera and just tell the listeners.
Okay. Great.
It's a bit funny, right? Look at the camera and tell the listeners. That means they're not watching.
Tell us will do.
Look
Yeah,
at-
I'll look towards the rosemary.
Okay, I watch. No worries. Attention. You have my attention, I'm the preserving one.
Everything else stand by?
Okay, recording.
Audio.
Audio recording.
Thank you. Design Thinking episode 10 with James. Stand by. Alright, in 3, 2.
Welcome to Persona Podcast, kindly brought to you by Design Thinkers Academy and Design Thinking Asia Conference 2022. Every week, we will speak to a different person to find out about what he does, why he does it, or how he has pivoted from it. Today, we have James Leong, a very good friend, joining us today. So thank you very much, James, for joining us, and welcome to the show.
Hey, Daryl. Thank you for inviting me. Glad to be here.
Hey, James, tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay. Wow. Gosh, so many titles. Well, I'm known more as an NLP trainer and an Enneagram teacher, but my passion is actually helping ex-offenders. One of my passions, actually. It started when I started to volunteer with Sana a couple of years ago, and then later of which I started my own social enterprise as well. And I believe that everybody deserves a second chance.
Thank you, James. Tell us about that moment that made you want to start this whole thing.
Well, I guess part of the reason why I wanted to start it was because I felt that even though there is the infrastructure in place to help all these ex-offenders, I still felt that a lot of times there was a lot of gaps that could actually be better fulfilled by individuals outside of the system. I'll give you an example. For example, many individuals who just came out from their incarceration, especially those who have drug offense, they are put through the system for a certain number of months, and of which, we try our best as volunteers, working with the psychologists, the social workers in place to help them to, assimilate back to society. However, one of the things that we discovered that the time spent to build the trust and rapport is a little bit too short, really too short. And it's not easy, especially if you put yourself in the, especially when you put yourself in the role of the position of the ex-offender. They are being incarcerated for many, many years, of which they have very little trust for the individuals surrounding them, be it their inmates, those so-called in charge of them. And so building trust is very important. And many a times I've discovered that by the time we build enough trust and rapport with them, that is just the beginning. We haven't even so-called being able to really help them to change their mindset, their perception, or even get them ready to come back to the society. Yes. So this is my turning point, I would say.
As you talk about trust, a question just came to me, and I'm just wondering, what does trust mean to this ex-offender? What does trust really feel like, or what does it mean?
Wow, that itself, I would say that would be a very, very difficult topic for me to elaborate. Actually, yeah, I only can give some examples. For some of them is that they come from family backgrounds that are near poverty line, sort of fell through the cracks in society. And the long and short of the story is that they fell into the cracks. They mixed with the wrong company. They got involved with drugs, and some of them need to feed their drug habits along the way. And they can't get a job, so they resort to crime. Yeah. So the thing is, when they're in jail, some their family members don't reach out to them, don't visit them. The thing is, in spite of all the good efforts of the Yellow Ribbon Project and all, there's still a stigma in our society. Yeah, there's a stigma, okay? I guess we are we are becoming more aware of it. I'm glad things are changing for the better. But the thing is that the moment they come out from their, from the incarceration, the sad thing I find is that when they're looking for a job, especially, especially when they're asked, if you have a previous felony before, have you committed a crime before, have you abused any substance before? Yeah, and basically and I know what it means. You know, yeah, basically, chance of them getting the job is much less. Yeah. So there's a lot of trust issues with society at large. Of course, there are well-meaning people who also offer them help, like a halfway house and all. Yeah. However, I find that they are sort of, especially when they are from the lower education spectrum, a lot of them end up as movers. Yeah. Of course, some went into food and all. Yes, we have a few successes. Yes. The other thing is we also discovered that a huge percentage of them, okay, who previously were addicted to drugs, they came out, yes, clean for a couple of months, and next thing you know, I would say more than 50% of them actually went back, to substance abuse. So, in fact, we even tried. I mean, in my previous social enterprise that I created, I've stepped down since after third year I stepped down. So what we discover is that when we reach out to companies who actually hire ex-offenders, because we have a panel of psychologists, we were asking them, hey, you and I know that the chances of them relapsing is quite high. Would you consider providing them with extra support, psychological support and coaching, and we are actually reaching out to them because we have a panel of experts in this area to help them. And we are, of course, like any social enterprise, we need to have a source of income, and we offer our services. So one of the bosses, himself an ex-offender, say this in my face, bro, are you thinking in your right mind? I said, why? He said this, I'm already doing charity by offering them a job. You want me to pay for them? For their emotional support and stuff like that. They ought to be grateful, And should they relapse back to their drug habits, they deserve to go back. Yeah, so that was the kind of a shocking kind of a answer that I got, and it's from somebody who's a ex-offender himself. Yeah, so I would have expected a more compassionate and humane answer from him. Unfortunately, it's not so. Yeah, so this is some of the one of the stories that I can relate to you.
It's quite saddening to hear that there are still people around, and much more with individuals who have also gone through the same experiences, going and saying such a thing about giving them a second chance, right? And saying that, no, I'm not gonna support. Is that what I'm hearing, that this person didn't?
Well, basically is yes, there is a exchange, for the services. There's a fee for it,
How has that framed James today, or at least how has that made James a different person today?
I would say that a part of me start to feel more open to collaborations. I mean, looking back, it's like some 20 over years ago, you will find a very brash young man, who felt that, because I know stuff, I've got empowering technologies, I can change the world, and I can do things all by myself, And I discovered that, especially in the helping profession, you can't do it alone. Yeah, you really can't do it alone. Yeah, it takes a lot of like-minded people to come together, you know, and to have the same goal, and of course a high degree of compassion and patience to help all these individuals.
Wow.
Yeah, it taught me a lot of humility.
Thank you very much, James. Well, James, if there's something you could leave behind for our listeners, what would that be?
Well, as I was saying, you know, everybody deserves a second chance, sometimes a third chance, and even more. Yeah, as long as we don't give up, I feel that, hey, there's opportunity, there's always hope, yeah, for everyone.
Thank you very much, James. Where can we find James if someone's looking for you?
Well, you can look for me at jamesleong.com, JamesLeong.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing with us today, James.
Thank you, Daryl.
Woo! Sweet. Sweet. Selfie. Walao. Ready? 3, 2. Wow, this angle nicer lah.
Really?
Then never see the bottom. Let's see here.
A good camera helps.
Oh gosh.
Okay, this is totally unscripted.
Yes, which is the best. Unscripted is the best. How was that? Was good? Okay.
Not enough, oh gosh.
Definitely, you must leave. You leave the 10 minutes, then people lao nua, then say sorry, no more.
Yeah. It's a cliffhanger. Then after that, a part 2, you know. Yeah. Then becomes all the social enterprise. What we want to do.
Walao. Thank you very much for coming to share. Yeah, well, you know, this podcast is for us to just really bring.
If this no more recording, right? I can speak freely.
No, yeah.
Okay.
No, you cannot speak freely because we are listening to.
Okay, you guys will listen, but don't quote me lah. Don't quote me lah. You guys want to know the real reason why I started the social enterprise?
Why?
Because in Sana, they got a new person who is an ex-prison warden to take charge of the place, and he was rather militant about it, unfortunately.
Ayo.
Yeah. So the former people that I would deal with, the staff there, they left, and they wrote me in to start a separate entity.
Are you still there?
After the third year, you know, after it's stable, I left already.
So now you just teacher?
Coach lah,
basically. International.
Yeah. But I've taken on a different role now. I'm more into. I've partnered with Fred Tan, from the former chair of NTU Entrepreneurship Division.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he has a pretty robust program.
No, it's not that Fred. It's not Fred. Not that Fred. Yeah, it's Fred.
Tan, T-H-E-N.
Tan,
T-H-E-N.
I heard Fred. Okay.
Fred Tan, T-H-E-N.
Okay.
Quite an interesting guy.
Fred Tan. Okay.
He was able to get up to 60% success rate for startups.
Wow.
From
funding.
No, not funding. When he was in NTU, right, as the chair, he was shocked. He asked for statistics. Show me the number of the candidates' success that they came in. And these are people who are funded by Singapore. Your money and my money. 3% success. Shocking. You know how many 50K got poured down the toilet, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So when he came in, within 6 months, right, he turned things around 60% success.
Wow, beautiful. We must keep in touch. Continue to converse, see how we can collaborate on this. So we are expanding our things that we're doing, and we're doing a lot more. So matter of time whether you want to jump in to collaborate on some things that we're doing.
I like to approach it a bit differently. I like to approach it from the entrepreneurship point of view.
Yeah.
And then get these entrepreneurs to assimilate more externally into their companies.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that would be a bit better. Because right now with the pandemic, everybody's a entrepreneur. You want to study? Oh, you got fun too. You know, I lecture at WSG.
Yes.
be shocked. 90% of the anti-youngers come to look for programs like 哪一个可以读完书有钱拿的？
Oh, 对呀对呀 That's how we're spoiled. What? Yeah. Oh, that's shit
Where's
life
the
lah.
true learning?
That's the shit that's happening.
Yeah.
Hey, got drink ah? Malik, got drink ah Malik? Cheese don't want, I want drink only. No.
Cannot.
Okay, thank I got balls.
Cannot.
I got my good balls. Hey, no lah bro. You drink lah. Thank you bro.
Sorry, we don't have the kebaya to bring the
Why kebaya all? You SIA last time? You SIA meh?
No lah.
Walao eh. Then you drink what? Oh, okay. Oh, he's got the dispenser, huh? Oh.
Oh, this is your private recording studio or?
I wish. Malik.
What happened to the cup? Design thinking cup.
Hey, why not bring?
It's not with me.
Why not? You should keep. You want? We know what's
Why?
Well, it's with Wayne. Well. Anyway.
Yeah.
Whoever go to Zion,
Gosh. Hey, joining us later. 5 p.m. Join us. We're gonna Facebook Live.
I
I don't know whether you remember him. Have I introduced you all both?
oh no, not yet.
I introduced you to the team. This is Hubert Tang. Hey! Do you remember Hubert Tang? Rosemary and Annie.
I don't know you leh.
How I know man? You're on the road. Might as well do all lah. Okay.
Okay, first to boost your yeah. Standing to the narrow.
Thanks, huh? Bi-weekly or weekly? Podcast weekly.
There'll be 26, so we have no schedule. 10.
But we can start drawing and
Yeah, because the first
Hubert is what?
no, the first 6 is approved already.
11
You
what?
need to roll only
But
one.
Hubert is 12 lah. He take 2 take 1 is it?
Yeah.
He may liao, he part 1 and then
Roll yours first.
Hubert part 2, huh?
We will roll yours first.
My roll me first.
Yeah.
I haven't applied for the podcast side. I don't know where to how to.
Why? Who want to apply for podcast site?
You see the who got so many podcasts and John Tan. John from Care Singapore. Walao eh. The Apple podcast lah, Chrome podcast lah, make me one more podcast
now
lah.
is number what again?
4
Now
different podcasts.
This is a
She
10
say
one.
this is 10.
10 ah. So for 11 hours
Hubert is 10.
Hubert can take over
Huh?
the podcast.
11
11
hours.
hours you take over.
I know design thinkers straight up can take over.
No, by then you already you are attending the training, so you will be done.
Aiya. Thank you, James.
Hey, where's your cup?
Where's your mask? Oh, in your hand, what? What's that? Sorry?
Refrigerator somewhere?
Refrigerator at the. Is there a refrigerator somewhere? Refrigerator. Hey, Chris. How about your ring, ah? Can open door on your ring. Powers, yeah. Eh, that's the bishop's ring, right?
It's a rebel's ring.
Rebel's ring.
One of the French king.
Right.
His flag was rather unique. Rather than have a normal Catholic.
Cantona, is it?
He had another one on top.
Not Cantona lah. That one is my French king.
It's a French king, yes.
No, my French king is Cantona. Eric Cantona. That's my French king. Thanks, James. See you.
Bye bye. Going to gym already ah?
You must 做工, you cannot 做步, okay, bye.
诶，做刚做不挠嘿啊。
How slow this dog.
Gang is male.
Yes.
Oh.
So when you all talk do this.
Can. That was the best truffle chips I ever had in my life.
Oh my god. Are we gonna talk about that?
Huh?
Wait.
Whatever.
Hey, nice the music.
Oh yeah, nice. Wow, now I'm ready to make a porn movie already.
Kin. Hello, Kin. Porn movie, Kin. Why, who asking? Close up, ah? Must tear one. Can tear not the kabaya? Kabaya can tear.
Kabaya is zip one, just zoom one down, time down, you don't know. Allow.
Cannot lah, tear got more watches.
Huh?
Got more people watch.
Oh. So she like all the ship workers, shipyard worker.
I also like. I think it's happening. Imagine, yeah, exactly. You take out the whole thing, it's clean already. Clean fatigue. Anyway. Bro, one more. Yeah, one more. One more. You thought we sit down, Zobo. You thought we sit down, Zobo. James, Chris. So I announce here. I announce here.
Announce what?
Well, as of today, I'm
No, don't announce yet. Don't forget, I still got full-time job, no.
I've given up my role as
Yeah, don't forget I got full-time. Don't announce yet. We haven't worked out anything yet.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
Hi, darling.
Hi, darling. What happened at the back?
Oh, this for the close-up. This for the close-up. Change lens.
Hey, this one no need macro, no. You do macro lens, You want to?
No, I still remember the show, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh.
The movie.
Hey, can you do that?
Huh?
Do you have
No.
Do you have the puppet?
No, I just remember they were filming the show, right? Then the cameraman zoomed in on Robin Williams in the Mrs. Doubtfire outfit. Then the director said, "No, pull back, because them ugly." Then the cameraman, "How far?" Cleveland.
Cleveland. Why?
Huh?
Why?
No, Cleveland always get a bad rap. No, 10 enough. Why? Enough.
Do I do the jingle?
What jingle?
All hits all day.
Hello. You are Design Thinkers Academy. Please focus on that. It's not a radio show. Don't fantasize.
Lama.
You want me to do a radio porn show movie?
Radio got poncho.
Oh, God. You ask Malay,
Oh,
I don't know what Malay.
Your mic okay or not? Can scratch or not?
Malay everything, you know.
Can scratch.
See, I see.
Why you think like that? Oh, lama. Why? You think too much, are you? We're gonna scratch the mic all.
What you do? ASMR.
That's all. How's the movement? Request reviews for Design Thinkers Academy. Review. That one Razer laptop Razer laptop Is it yours? His Razer got laptop one meh? I thought
God.
Razer is a gaming thing.
Yeah, gaming laptop.
Oh, I thought it's just mouse only. How that mouse so on it? Wow, reading laptop some more. I didn't know that.
Razer got laptop, got speaker. It's a gaming laptop.
Wow, this is our 11th podcast. We've got 26, so we've got 15 to go, which is going to be quite fast, yeah? Hi, welcome to Love Songs. Welcome to
What are you
Persona
going to ask me?
Podcast.
What are you going to ask me?
I'm going to ask you what you do. Tell us a bit more about yourself, and then from there, tell us about what made you do what you're doing today. That's why
What made me do what I'm doing today?
yeah, that's why I don't know whether I should frame that somewhere else, because you're going to do that later.
Yeah.
During the
Yeah, you can ask, like, I hear that this is where you were, but, you know,
Okay,
let's
so we
talk about where. Let's talk about where you're going.
where you are going.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, I'll let you frame the opening. Then from there, I will.
Yeah, I can say let's talk about where we're going. Because currently, basically, I'm a magazine editor.
Yes.
Editor for a golf magazine.
Beautiful.
No, I mean, okay, if you want to say where I am, I'm currently the editor of a golf magazine. But to give you a little bit of perspective, where I came from, for 20 years, I was a radio DJ. Right. In a nutshell, I was a radio DJ for 20 years, and all its attendant, whatever that came with it.
Can you do a 20-second reminisce?
20-second reminisce.
Yeah. How Hubert used to sound like on radio.
No lah.
Come on.
No.
Hey, it's a dream come true. Like,
No, I'm not here to do that. I mean, basically, this is it. Yeah.
Okay.
If I talk to you, basically, this is it. Yeah.
It is true.
Yeah. Beginning in the old days was, hi, this is Hubert Tang on, 987 FM. Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Did you hear
But
that?
that's the old voice. Now
That
it's like,
is the
now it's
voice.
the new improved version is just natural conversation. Right? Yeah.
10 seconds?
No. Then, at no value. Huh?
Do what I did.
Is he?
I cannot pull
His
off lah.
fantasy, really DJ.
He gets into your room with you every day, no? Into your ear and everything.
I've been there, done that already.
In my ear? I got already a woman in my ear. One. Got two also. There's two. There's two, yeah. Very long never talk about the two. Got license one, Got license.
The smoke very strong.
Got license, yeah. Walao eh.
The smoke very strong. He just died.
Chris Ho was your trainer. Wow. Were you there? You teaching also?
No, Hoppa, is it? Hoppa building, is it?
Hoppa.
Oh, they moved to McPherson. Oh, the old one, the old McPherson one. Yeah lah.
City Mac. Leong Huat. No lah, Leong Huat new one just across Paya Lebar now. Sorry.
I told you this guy was on a roll. Now he come out of that role into a DJ role. Now he
Cannot
talk
stop
show
lah.
host.
Cannot stop lah now.
Alamak.
Let's wait for the.
You want to laugh already? I thought he's going to look at me. He's going to start laughing. I guarantee you. Somewhere during the conversation, he'll look at me and he'll just start laughing. I guarantee you. Okay. Then she'll NG one.
We're gonna open our lines now to the top.
See?
First 10 callers.
See? 他真久了，一季啊
We're waiting for the 10th caller.
，backside 一季。
Alright, stand by. All cams audio, stand by, ready? Okay, good. Design Thinking, episode 11 with Hubert. Stand by. In 3, 2.
Welcome to Persona Podcast, kindly brought to you by Design Thinkers Academy and Design Thinking Asia Conference 2022. Every week we will speak to a different person to find out about what he does, why he does it, and how he has pivoted from it. Today we have a very special guest, Hubert Tang. Welcome, Hubert.
Thank you, Daryl. Thank you for having me.
Hubert, tell us a bit about yourself.
Where do I start? What do I say? And this is what it's all about. You got that?
Yes. And we now have the 10th caller on the line. Hi, Annie.
To win the top prize, answer this question. Right? How many children do I have? Wrong.
Let's go to the next caller on the line. Who do we have here?
Oh, perfect timing.
Walao eh. Little ring house, yeah.
I said, where do I start? Oh, perfect timing. Yeah. Yeah, next door. Right here on the wall. It's on the wall.
It could be upstairs.
No, it's here, on the wall here. It's on the wall.
Woohoo!
Yes, installing a glory hole.
A glory hole. Apa glory hole?
Huh?
What's a glory hole?
Don't ask.
Glory hole.
Oh, you don't know? You know? You know, right? Exactly, yeah.
I knew it. Yeah. But wow.
You know it's glory, right? Yeah.
The uh-huh.
Yeah, glory, yeah. So glory. Hole.
Hole?
Yeah.
Where's the
So
hole?
if
is
you're
the
seeking
part
glory, this is the hole you go to.
golf lah.
No. Nothing to do with golf. Nothing at all.
I know glory. Glory is the East Coast Katong one, that glory.
Hey. Lame.
Glory hole, what?
I told you! I told you! I told you! I told you!
Shall we start like that then? You know.
Malik.
Lucky not 5 o'clock, yeah? They just moved in? Oh, I thought they were the same carpenter. Oh. We gotta send Christian in. Because Christian's father is a Jewish carpenter.
Who's Christian? How can he be a Jewish? He's Jewish? Your nose not big enough.
He's Christian, but he's Catholic.
Yeah, lor.
What? Why?
Walao, you get with it lah. Glory hole don't know. Mask like that don't know. Wow.
Why mask like
How
that?
to be DJ? Fail, man. Epic fail, eh.
That's why I never got the job lah.
Walao, eh.
Never applied for DJ.
You know, I went through a, 3-hour general knowledge test or not?
Oh my God, there's such a thing.
Yeah, sit down, multiple choice. Who is the president of Cuba? What song does Madonna sing? Right? Then
La Isla Bonita.
then don't know what. It goes to everywhere, from political to the pop to classical music. I'm like, oh my God, you're really testing our general knowledge, man.
Wow. Maybe we should do that now.
And this was for like perfect 10. I'm like, huh?
So for today's Persona podcast, we will ask you 10 questions. Let's see whether you can get the perfect 10.
I tell you, if you don't laugh looking at me, I'm going to end up laughing looking at you, man. Because I know it's like, he's thinking of being a DJ. He's a DJ. You want to scratch the mic. Ding, 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 ding.
As long as not
You want to scratch Malik's mic?
Scratch Malik's mic.
Wow, Malik, crossing his leg already. You heard that?
Bro, that one strobe lighting. This one strobe.
Siao lah, this I settle DJ mode.
Strobe, not stroke. Alamak, stroke. Strobe.
Same lah. You kena the strobe light, you will kena stroke also.
Maybe.
So,
maybe.
Malik, how many glory holes is it drilling?
Um, no, he said 5 minutes. He didn't say 5. How many holes can he?
Exactly. This guy is fast. This guy should be the DJ. Okay?
Why you like that? Why you say you become DJ?
General knowledge is must be good one.
And respond must be fast.
But I'm never the first caller.
Then you don't know the technique, you must have like a few phones on.
You see?
Or like my friend who won, he was the what?
1
Platoon
million.
commander, so he told the whole department call. And he won last hit. Later then he told me, he's like, oh, where's the call? Sir, I got it. Okay, run over.
My goodness.
And he won tickets to the concert. I can't remember which concert. Was it Whitney Houston? Really? So yeah, I never told you this story.
I'm a regular winner leh. On class 95.
Wow, you know we call you, there's a term for people like you. Contesting.
We restart at 3:45.
Yeah, sure.
3:45.
Then I go and pee first.
Just tell them to stop drilling the hole, okay?
I'll join in the whole.
That will be on the 6th and 8th floor. Oh, not
It was 6 and 8 floor.
Oh.
You cannot make it in time.
Oh, you give me a bottle lah.
Then how you know?
What is that behind
Oh, I thought you were talking about
How
drilling
you
on
know?
the 6 and 8 floor.
Apa?
How you know it's on the 6 and 8 floor, the drilling?
People telling you where's the toilet lah.
I thought drilling on so many floors.
How do you want
How
it
did
to
that
go?
go? How did that go? He asked for the toilet, and then he's telling, and then he can talk about how did.
Open door also don't know. Press the button lah.
Beside he Hakka. I only know one word Hakka. Monggang.
Stupid.
So are we ready? Hello? For 5 minutes you stop drilling?
Yes, it's been 10 minutes.
Oh, they're done.
5 minutes already, yes.
Oh, he taken it already lah.
I think he's been drilled.
It's been drilled. Okay. Yeah. Kawalan, kawamatan. Okay.
Still recording, ah?
Alright, second take. Design Thinking, episode 11 with Hubert. Goodbye. In 3, 2.
Welcome to Persona Podcast, kindly brought to you by Design Thinkers Academy and Design Thinking Asia Conference 2022. Every week we will speak to a different person to find out about what he does, why he does it, and how he has pivoted from it. Today we have a very special guest, Hubert Tang. Thank you very much, Hubert, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Hubert, well, once again, welcome. I'm feeling a bit of awe at this moment, but tell us a bit about what you do.
Well, right now, I work as an editor for a golf magazine called Golf Asia. For a little bit of perspective, let me go back to the past 20 years of my career where I spent time as a DJ, radio DJ. Started out on 987 FM, ended up on Gold 90 FM, Power 98. I would say I've probably done practically all the radio stations, English radio stations in Singapore, save for the classical station and the new SPH radio stations which have just come up.
Wow. Well, tell us a bit more about how this career or this journey of yours has framed you to become who you are today.
I'd say I'm a very lucky person. I didn't have a direction in life, and I just drifted along, and it so happened that this opportunity to become a DJ on a radio station came up via a newspaper ad. So to cut a long story short, I started in Perfect 10, moved along, and everything sort of came naturally, and it sort of fell into place for me, you know, and then after which, when I left radio, I had the opportunity to move into journalistic writing, which I did. People ask me, moving from being a DJ to being a journalist, isn't that a totally different thing altogether? I said, not really. If you look at it, I used to tell stories with my mouth. Now I just tell stories with a keyboard.
Well, I am very interested in your DJ life and wanting to learn more about that. So, really, the question is, what was the proudest moment of Hubert Tang in his life as a DJ?
Wow. I haven't thought about this in a long time, but it's just come back. My proudest moment was when I created a show jingle, a show commercial, if you will, for my own segment, which was I was doing at the time. The Home Stretch with Hubert Tang. In fact, I came up with the name Home Stretch. And 10, 15 years after I've left, they're still using a name, and they haven't found a better name than that. It's still on gold from 5 to 8 p.m. And so, you know, show jingles or show commercials are like, hi, I'm Hubert Tang. Please listen to me. You know, we've got contests ongoing, and we've got such great celebrities and songs to be played for you, right? That's how it goes. And I had an interesting conversation with a listener who called in, and I recorded that, and I said, this is great, I'm going to use it. So, to cut a long story short, the end result started out like this. Hubert Tang, I hate you. Would you be shocked if you heard that as a show commercial?
Live?
Yeah, so, Hubert Tang, I hate you. And then I came on and I said, yes, this is Home Stretch with Hubert Tang, something like that. And if you listen, it soothes the savage beast and it makes you a better person, la-di-da. And at the end of it, I came back on and I asked him, now, do you feel better? And he said, yeah, I do. Basically, the whole idea was for him to get him off his chest.
Wow.
Yeah. So that stuck. And I couldn't come up with anything better. And that ran for a whole good 3 months, I remember. Everywhere I went on the street, people who saw me said to me, not hi Hubert Tang, said, Hubert Tang, I hate you. So that was quite the catchphrase for me at that time. And no one had ever done anything like that. It was always, please like me, I'm nice, listen to me on the radio. I went entirely the opposite direction.
Wow.
So that was a real game changer for me.
Well, Hubert Tang, I hate you. Well,
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
Tell us a bit more about how did that moment reframe you, or at least how did that moment change Hubert in his approach on being on radio?
Let me jump to after radio.
After
Because
radio.
really, if you talk about the moment that reframed me, that happened just several years ago, in my 50s. I've been very fortunate, like I said, with my career. I enjoyed it. At the same time, I didn't, because I was not a person at peace. And a lot of people see celebrities or people in such positions where you're put in a spotlight, so to speak, and being a popular personality, that we are perfect. We're not. We are flawed. In fact, most of us are flawed. All of us are flawed as human beings, some more than others. I didn't know where I was going in life, and it was only when I finally discovered a mentor, by chance, that I learned that I needed to make a change in myself. Because I wasn't happy, and he asked me, look, in all your life that you've not been happy, what is the one common thing that's been constant? I was wondering, and I couldn't figure it out. And he prompted me and he said, wasn't it you? In every moment that you were unhappy, the one common factor was you, wasn't it, Hubert? And I was like, yeah, so what does that mean? I said, if you were the common factor, do you need to change the situation, or do you need to change yourself? And that was the turning moment in my life. That's when I started to reframe and say, oh my gosh, no one has ever put it to me that way. Yes, I'm the common factor. What if I change myself? And what did Einstein say, right? Do the same thing the same way over and over again, that being the definition of insanity, and expecting a different result. Now that is the definition of insanity, isn't it? Doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. So I was approaching life with that same mindset over and over again for 50 years and expecting a different result. How could I? So I needed to reframe and change myself. And that's where I embarked on a journey to self-awareness first. And from self-awareness to get that self-learning, move away from being selfish to being selfless. Because being selfish is self-limiting. When I want to reach out and grab for myself, it's very self-limiting. But if I turn around, I'm selfless, and I give, then people are invited to come. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. How are the people coming to you today? They're no longer coming at, I hate you, right?
No. I'm fortunate that I met you, Daryl of Design Thinkers Academy, Rosemary as well, for reaching out to me through a fortuitous circumstance. So I think, I believe in this now, that the universe attracts. There is such a thing as, or love attracts, and the universe listens and answers the call. Wow. Yeah. So when I think good thoughts and I think positive thoughts, it can happen. I never used to believe that. I said, that's impossible, that's nonsense, just like everybody else, until I experienced it myself, and I realized it is so true.
Well, thank you very much, Hubert, for sharing with us this very insightful message.
You're most welcome, Daryl. You wanted to hear a DJ voice? Here it is.
Thank you, Hubert. Well, if there was a message for our listeners,
yeah,
what would that be?
Oh, wow. What I'd like to say is this: be inspired, but beyond being inspired, be inspired to move, to do something, to take that action. What do I mean by that? we're on WhatsApp, we're on Facebook, we're on all the social media accounts, and there's so much inspiration. But what have you done with that inspiration in your life? Wow. Inspiring comment. Put it down and go back to that Korean drama. I was a TV addict. And if my mentor said to me, by watching all that TV, how has your life changed? Wow, from that day I stopped watching TV.
That's why the video killed the radio star, right?
I guess. So, my point is, be inspired to move, to get up, take the action, do something. Anything. That one baby step is the first step in a new direction. And this is my new beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, Hubert. Where can we find Hubert if we wanted to look for you?
Oh, easy. I'm on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. Although I'm not such socially active on social media. But you can still find me. We can still connect. And if you'd like to talk and have a conversation, I'm always open to, because I've been where you are. And I'm here to share that there is a way out of it. It took me 50 years to find it. It's never too late for you.
Thank you very much, Hubert.
Thank you. You blur, leh.
And now we're taking the 10th caller.
He and his DJ mind, see?
Yeah lah, I see. I can control him lah. Thank you, Daryl.
Keep thinking about the DJ in the voice.
We come one because I didn't get the job.
Let's do it. You're doing fine, you know.
It's never too late.
You want to be a DJ. You know, I want to be where you are.
Old lah, now old.
You want to be a DJ. I want to be where you are.
Really?
Being where you are is where you inspire and move people. Being a DJ is just entertain. There's nothing.
Please tell him that it's not too late to be a DJ.
FD.
He can be a DJ in his life and DJ in fun
FD
too.
inspiring lah, FD. FD is very inspiring. And so is Uncle Brian.
Sorry?
FD and Uncle Brian is very good. I would imagine one of them, two of them coming together for a show sometime. It'll be a damn old show. Hey, come on.
Muddled up a couple of things, but
Oh, after that is
overrun.
stand by to live already after this.
An hour to go.
Oh, another 1 hour. This one like 1 hour already there.
Yeah, man.
Oh my god, I can't imagine sitting there for 1 hour.
Are we doing the?
I'm gonna squirm like hell, boy.
Are we gonna do anything at the?
Can go for tea break. There's a canteen.
Okay lah, why don't we go for a canteen tea break and then go and discuss? Because Rosemary, we're all three together, right? Or is it four with Annie as well?
Cannot, two only.
Huh?
Can only do two.
Can you do two?
Yeah.
Canteen, people talk about discussion, talk about canteen.
Yeah.
Can you be on par with us?
Cannot. The DJ is here.
Can you be on synchronized?
DJ here. Cannot.
DJ.
Cannot contract.
Please lah, that's my past life lah.
It's like starstruck, you know.
That one past life, I already throw it out the window already.
It's like starstruck, right? He's here, you
I want to embrace design thinkers, you still want to go back to the DJ side.
Do an exchange.
Ah,
Do an exchange.
exchange ah.
Let me be a DJ for a week.
Apa do an exchange? Then what? You switch with me and then we talk.
Yeah, then you know, I mean in real life, not on Facebook, huh?
Oh.
How? You think what? You want? I just talk about, hello, I got this Daryl, you want to be DJ? Can
No, let him just shadow, just sit there. Then once in a while, just like him, hello.
You can arrange the private phone line. As well.
Anything else? This I
Now she's doing it right on TikTok. Now she's doing it on TikTok, right? Asking for live demos. So you upload your live demos to be a DJ. Someone is asking for, I think 98.7. They are 98.7 is calling for teenagers to. Don't want lah, please. Old already. Walao 98.7 apek and going walao eh. Then all the song then become Go 90, no? Yeah, then after. So I'll take over your home stretch. I got apek with 987. Home stretch. Wow.
Right, sounds good, right? Home stretch with Hubert Tang.
Home stretch. It's supposed to correlate with your name.
Yeah, but I didn't want anything like everybody's drive, drive, drive,
Ah. Kate Reyes was what?
Huh?
Kate Reyes, her evening shows was what's it? Late nights.
People die already.
Yeah, I know lah, but poor thing. Anyway.
She died, yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
You can
cancer.
always set up a DJ channel for
Yeah,
design
you can
thinking.
It's my dream. I've been telling the Brazilian friend of ours. So Brazil, they are doing podcasts as well in their language, the Spanish language. So we could collab actually. So we have one live, and then we take over 24/7. So there's always a radio going on in one country. And then don't know.
No need to sleep, no need to eat, no need to be your family. 24 hours you on there.
No lah.
Hello, this is Daryl. Good morning, good night, good evening. Huh?
Good morning, Vietnam.
Sorry, what is that?
So cash is 517.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Good morning. Oh, you watch the show, huh?
That's the cash conversion is 517.
Yeah. So you can use your skills future.
No, the
In
balance
skills
portion.
future, you
No,
use
the
that.
cash. Not the cash. The balance
Balance
amount is 517.
Check.
Oh, so okay, so subsidy is
We only got,
Um,
we've got 57 minutes left.
this 500 is paid in.
Either skills future full, Ipoka, then you use whatever is balance, you pay the rest in cash.
So this 500 if you have enough.
Hubert, can you do beatboxing?
Sorry?
Do you do beatboxing?
Because I need to.
Do you do
So actually you can pay
Whatever you ask,
miming and all those? No,
miming.
not miming. Sorry. What's that? Voice impersonations?
Character, what?
Yeah.
How's
Yeah.
you were thinking of Ego Man,
No. I'm thinking of Jose Juan Believable. Jose Juan Believable. Jose never went to SPH. Jose remained in MediaCorp.
Yeah, because that was a character.
Uh,
So I can only do a pseudo Hong Kong accent.
so oh nice. Later we Hong Kong accent.
Go on,
Lei Ho we.
Please don't ask me to showcase all that. It's my past life already.
Okay. Can I check my?
You want me go backwards?
I know, it's just going to ask me about the DJ again. I said, ask it.
Yeah.
Then I jump over, reframe.
I messaged my Hong Kong friend and he just messaged.
I'm glazing over DJ.
Yeah.
Starstruck.
The
Woohoo.
whole thing is over top of a DJ.
No, you must have slightly different from later.
I know I caught you a couple of times. I saw you like, what happened? Just now before that you were so smooth.
Okay,
I
what?
don't know what you were thinking.
No, because he was trying to say not DJ.
We're now opening the lines to all our callers.
Okay lah, you recover quite well. But only maybe they can't tell lah, but I can tell because I've been in the line long enough. I know how to read the body language better.
Oh gosh.
Focusing on
Gabra or not? That's part of the interview script I just shared with you. Because when I did interviews last time also, even though it's radio, I've watched them. And when I read their body language and I can see that there's a pause or something, my job is to come in and help them and save them. Not talk over them.
Thank you.
But to take them by the hand and guide them along with the question and lead them start.
He's the pro. I think we're gonna run.
These are all little interview tips.
Actually, for a podcast,
He could do a.
bring some of your trainers up. Those people in training in Agape.
Yeah.
So did that
There.
pivot their life? After training they.
Yeah, she already did one. So we're just getting more and more only.
Our trainer only one, only me and you only.
Actually, I can suggest something. After watching a bit, you can actually do courses for all your trainers. How to be in front of people. You see,
Wow.
every single one. Alex nervous, Chris nervous, right? You look at James.
Oh, James.
Nervous.
He nervous, meh?
Story. I'm gonna fall asleep already.
James.
The moment he sits down, I say, oh, this fella nervous already.
No,
His body language, you see his body language.
Topik kong lah. He topik kong.
Straight.
No, he started and talking about his story.
He clapped very loud, He clapped very loud,
Yeah, then
He very inspired,
No, because finally.
What the hell?
Finally.
Shit. Terrible.
Actually, our first few,
What was it? It wasn't rambling, right?
our initial podcast was a bit too formal.
Yeah.
But never mind, I don't do again.
Did it overrun? Or?
Just by 40 seconds or so. I was watching. Yeah.
So far, the longest podcast I did is Santosh.
Yeah.
Very long.
His first one ma.
But I also not
Do we have the jingle later?
I have all settled already. The in and out through all settled already.
No, we got a new jingle also. Got additional jingle.
Who jingle?
His jingle.
That one you can sing it lah.
So you want to go to the canteen?
Yeah, that's why.
Where got time now? By the time you walk there, come back already.
Huh? Go to the canteen. 1 hour away.
No lah.
I don't know what's the canteen.
Only got 10 minute walk.
10 minute walk ah?
Not upstairs only meh? Or
Oh, I
downstairs?
don't know if it's upstairs.
Huh? Then where's the canteen ah?
Oh, 5 minute only.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Upstairs ah?
Downstairs, downstairs.
Which floor?
As in you have to exit the building.
Walao, fat sia. Why you take my fat photo? All my fat lao tiao at the side.
Where?
The first photo ah.
First two?
The one of the photos are fat.
What do you do, Chris?
I'm working with them, but I'm planning to study next year.
Oh, you working with
Design thinkers.
okay.
You can ask him to lie down, then you tita him.
I thought you were part of the place here.
No. But I'm pursuing a chiropractic next year.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah. It's a 5-year degree, 5-year journey.
Wow.
Shit, 5 years. Oh gosh.
So,
It's okay, by the time you come back you still below 30.
yes, 28 and hopefully not single.
Oh, no, hopefully not single.
And 3 kids already ah.
Maybe 30 years old.
No lah.
Take your time lah, please.
Nonsense ah. Trust me, not okay.
You know,
I tell you, I never said this, I tell you when I found love. In my 50s, okay? I found the right person. 50 years old. It's never too late.
That's true.
The what is too late is if you don't find the right person.
Love doesn't define time.
Yeah.
Rose gave me hope already. He said this look can get me.
Rose gave you hopes ah.
He said this look can get me girlfriend.
Oh. But what you want in a girlfriend, please know first, okay? I made the mistake, I don't know. Everything also can. So always wrong.
Certain level
Huh?
must be sporty. That kind of thing.
Okay, there are not. Forget about all those kind of things.
Personality.
No, not personality.
Career.
Okay. I tell you the most important thing, okay?
Oh wow.
When you find a woman, is you make her angry. Yeah. You make her angry. Yes. It's true. Because the measure of a person who loves you is seen through the anger. If
So
the
the
person-
women must also do the same to the male.
Yeah, same one. Yeah. So whether the it's true, it's vice versa. You know, when if the person can still show you love even when they're angry, that's the right person. Because when you're nice, everybody is nice, okay?
That's true.
Right? Then after that you see, you marry them, wow, all the quarrel come. This one cannot. See, so whether she's giving towards you, when she's
Love at their worst lah.
yes, correct, exactly. When they love you at your worst, oh, that's it. That's all.
She must
That's
calculate
the right
well.
one. That's the married one. Girlfriend, never mind, you know. Go and try here. Try until you, okay, this one the one, this one, I don't know what I want, but I know what I don't want. Right?
So you found your connect already. So next time when you're doing tita, when you're doing your Cairo, then you must talk about all these things. They will always come back to you because of this advice and not just your
Actually, it's something that I plan to have as an add-on in my practice next time.
persona, right? It's a beautiful persona.
Beyond just adjusting and body wellness, I also want to be able to provide emotional wellness to patients.
Wow, nice.
Be able to have fun and conversation.
Like you have more customers also, right? Because they feel at least you are, it's like,
They're not coming for the treatment, they're coming for me.
yeah, correct.
Beautiful.
That's the goal lah. That's the goal.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like in school, there are certain teachers that you like and your favorite teachers because they're very human-centered, they're very caring, right? They're very forgiving also, right? Not the one always make you stand in the corner, do all the punishment, yeah.
Even when I was studying, my tutor, when I go to tuition, it's not because I want to study, but I want to
Yeah,
hang out
you're
with him.
inspired by the person, right? Yeah.
When I went to the canteen, I don't mind.
You got 45 minutes left.
Supper was what?
They all go.
The one hours can.
I want kopi, so I buy.
I want Daisy.
They see, I hope there's a cashless.
They do pay now. They sell what? Pay now. Vape ah, vape.
2 times they see
Can vape meh?
drinks.
Okay, I don't mind coffee cup. Coffee cup.
No, I'll pay for this.
No.
Same.
Kopi kau, kopi kau.
Same.
No lah, can vape mah, he vaping here.
Hey, you vape here later got smoke effect ah.
Vape Not much more. I see people on the Grab bike doing that, no, on the road.
Then like
So daring, you know.
like cow like that, bloody smoke, tua pu one.
No, like on the traffic light, and then I see smoke.
Like cow like that. Cannot lah.
Not openly, you cannot do it.
No, it's very obvious one. The vape smoke is walao like dragon like that.
So 2 times Stacy, 2 times kopi kau.
Thank you.
Oh, you also coffee now?
Anything lah. I just miss Chin Mei Chin.
What?
Chin Mei Chin.
Xin Mei Chin?
Near her house Annie's house.
Just now when Hubert was saying about, you say your mentor was telling you, say that, who is the common denominator, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I remember I was telling you, because on and off, sometimes I do relationship coaching to singles. I need to run dating events. So we go somewhere, will tell me, first boyfriend, second boyfriend, whatever. I also tell her the same thing. I say, when you look at all the boyfriends that didn't work out, I say, can you tell me who is the what I didn't say who, no? I say, can you tell me what's the common denomination?
Yeah, exactly.
So they will tell me all the things that they see, like, yeah, this one lousy lah, blah, blah, blah.
Very
I say,
seldom
okay.
you say yourself.
I say, see again, write down everything. I say, who is this person? Who is this person having a relationship with? Then they write me. I say, okay, now tell me again, who is the common factor?
Same goes for any businesses
Then they realize it,
or friendship, right?
Then they realize it, then they like, then you see that's when the pause is the silent
Yeah,
pause.
yeah. Same, I had the same pause. Everything was like, oh my god. Yeah, it's me, damn it.
So I told them, I say, how can we 5 different men behave the same way, right? I say, it has been triggered by somebody and that somebody is you. Alright, I say, these 5 person are totally different you found them from different source. So how can they, you mean they meet up and talk?
Yeah.
No? So I say, clearly you are the main issue. I say, so if you don't solve it, there's a problem.
Walao, wait, get out from. Is it the Boracay one?
Yeah.
From Melissa. Is it? Oh my gosh. Walao. Hey, send me. Oh my gosh. I sent on my friend. Hey, see, darling, no stomach. See, I'm not pregnant. Was that one?
Don't use it for Facebook later.
Yeah, I
No.
she said she wanted to show you, no?
Say, can you remember this photo?
Lucky you never laugh.
I don't know. I don't know where's all my photos also. Then I tell Mel, I need photo.
She's good actually. So what's she gonna do with her double degree?
I don't know. I told her catch up one day lah. I say find time catch up.
She do double degree.
She did in
Wow.
business and something like. Hey Daryl.
You change phone
Change phone.
Why so clear the photo just now the photo that you took?
Because I wipe my camera.
Your, your shirt must be very clean.
Hey Daryl, next week the fundamentals Rose is the stewardess, right?
Don't know yet. Waiting for her to plan. Waiting for her to decide.
Because I can't I only can do first day half, second day full day.
So who?
First day morning, afternoon I got the event. I got event for
August auntie.
Yeah lah.
So Rose, who you want?
My one of his friends auntie. August.
Ooh, chicken. You thought of someone yet? Hey, you thought of someone? Oh. Ah,
So you got to confirm, are we still going ahead 28 how? Because Malik don't got the range, 28 or 29.
Oh, you're not around?
Not around.
He's not around.
then cannot lah.
No, he's not around only why you miss him
Yeah.
You're not around also.
You're not around, so then who will do? Win also won't be around one. So
Oh, lah, you are the rounders,
you
I said first.
you can
I said first.
I mean, we can test for a week the response for Friday. Actually, don't test later we see,
Yeah.
whether Friday this hour is better.
It could be better.
If it's better, then you want
But-
to change,
but-
you want to change everything.
But a bit skewed also because Hubert is inviting all his international people coming down. So I don't know whether it's that's why exactly. So whether today is reliable or not.
So then how? No, now it's not so much. It's whether do we still want to do on 28, right? 28 is a Thursday.
Okay, let's set 2 times a week, 2 times a month next week. Next month. So this month let's do single still.
28 or
Single shot still lah. Okay.
shot, so where's double shot?
Double shot start November.
Which means December we have to do double shot,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now currently December.
December double shot easy because got Christmas ma, so we can do Christmas themes.
Yeah, but can you please go and check the calendar?
For calendar.
Yeah, I really go on the Google calendar Okay, I think update only
Yeah lah, exactly. See, today's one wasn't planned.
please lor.
His name is what's his name? Alvin. Alan.
Alvin.
Hey Alvin, just now he knocked his microphone got taiji or not? Did you catch the? Because he kena the. That's why like, what the hell? He hit a few times like go tua tua one, boom. Like oh my god. Okay, thank you. Oh my gosh.
So don't say the next current fundamental I got one friend.
Your internet connection is not good. It's weak.
Where?
No, just now the thing came out. The internet connection.
So I got one friend.
The angmo.
One friend coming for the fundamentals.
Nah.
Actually that guy also look like your friend. Your best friend.
Oh gosh.
Let's say your best friend got to go for the what?
I message him. Anti fungus.
Yeah, I think so. But the heart is not there. Heart is here. Isn't heart on the left?
Yeah. No. I think it's camera. I think it's the reflection. Inside.
No lah. Now is put armpit there one.
But cannot be the camera reflection, right? It's still on the right,
So trance the song. Hey, we should do the TikTok dance. The dance.
Which one? Oh, I haven't been seeing TikTok for a while.
Well, Louise send to you every day. Never follow.
I never see. So Louis suddenly so crazy over TikTok. Oh. No lah, I didn't lah. He sent me the link. I also never see. I'm just saying lah.
You ready or not? Rose, you starting, right? Are you into TikTok?
No. I cannot figure that one out.
Oh shit. You ask Malik, I think Malik can. I think Malik can. The floss, yeah. I have no idea what the hell that is.
Well, you see the kids do, I tell you.
Macam ah.
They like,
No, but you know what? We can leverage on TikTok.
Yes.
Someone told me already there's a lot of business things on it as well, right? Yeah, so we can do that as well.
Yes. Let's
We
go.
just do 1 minute.
Like
1 minute
PSP,
stuff.
yeah.
Huh?
Like PSP.
PSP? Where PSP got do 1 minute on it?
You know PSP got TikTok ah?
Is it? What
Yeah.
do they do?
Funny stuff. Have a look. Very funny stuff.
Kidding me?
Really? PSP has their own TikTok page.
Old man doing flossing ah?
Exactly.
PSP,
Yeah.
Tanjing Bok doing flossing.
Tanjing Bok they are.
flossing,
Flossing?
Yeah, Tanjing Bok.
take tio.
Yeah,
There you go.
You do it with Hubert now.
All Tanjing Bok no, see.
You do it with Hubert now.
All Tanjing Bok and the doctor.
How we do ah?
Buay hiao lah. An chua cho.
I also don't know how it's done.
An chua cho.
Is it like that?
No lah, I can't remember how.
Do a simple one ah.
How you do floss, ah?
I don't know.
I don't know how you do.
Ask Malik teach ah, Malik.
Malik, how you do the floss?
How do floss ah?
Come, kebaya come.
Malik teach the floss eh. Then we do the TikTok.
Okay, but you show how to do floss.
Do floss, I don't know.
I'm not that young.
But you're younger than all of us.
Young but not that young.
How to do, I can't remember.
What I didn't.
Yeah lah.
You Google, you show them on TV go.
You have a way lah.
How to floss. Let me show you that.
Don't know, I do 1 or 2 times, my coordination all gone already.
Is it?
But
Yeah,
you see the kids,
what's
the
the-
kids, the kids very fast one, no? Floss, dance.
try that.
And when you say special guest, please don't say special guest. I'm not special guest.
Today we have an
Guest.
unspecial guest.
I'm just a guest.
So that was what we did, and then I think with Felicia one was I mentioned a bit about my own experience of hearing what she said.
Really, she
So
tell me
yeah,
really.
so she can tell me, she can share about the history.
How we met.
Got
How
a
we met, and then yeah, then just let it roll lah. Facebook Live, you don't want to be too
Yeah.
scripted because then people will find this too scripted.
ultimately we should end off with the message
Of course.
of
No, we still follow the structure of him. I only do the beginning and then just bring him in so that he can talk about how he
do
did
the
the.
beginning, then the whole thing how
Do lah.
Oh, delicious. My pleasure. Thank you.
siao ah, then the whole thing
Thank you for your tea.
也能爽跟
Because you got to keep it rolling and
Yeah.
engaging and exciting to keep the audience watching. Because
Yeah.
if it goes down, I tell you that's it.
halfway through down.
I mean, if the mood of the whole Facebook Live gets a bit too.
Which is why I said I was hoping for having a structure. The beginning, middle, end, and you know where you're going to. It's like storyboard ah. Then you know. That's why I said it's important, especially if you have 3 persons. Because having done morning show with 3 people before, it's not easy. A lot of people think it's just a conversation. It's not. One person starts. One person must always take the lead. Then the rest are supporting cast. Like you watch you listen to the radio show like Glenn and FD. There are 4 people, but only Glenn is talking. Then maybe FD will come in and give one comment. Then the other guys will just laugh. That's all. Because yeah, same with Maddie and the others. But you listen to Maddie, Jason, and Arnold last time. It's very messy because everybody wants to be the leader. So I just give you a bit of mindset. So 3 persons, I thought last time, wow, very show, very fun. Actually, it's the hardest thing because you have the same amount of time. 1 minute or 2 minutes, 3 people talking. If everybody wants to talk for 2 minutes, you have 6 minutes. That's too much talk. So it's like trying to fit 3 people inside one column cubicle at the same time. You get it? Very difficult to do. 1 person B, very comfortable. 2 person B, okay, still can adjust a bit, 1 high, 1 low. 3 people, what's jialat? So Daryl should take the lead up. Then maybe like just now we have questions, right? Then he asked the first question, you can ask the second question. Then it's the flow. Then you guide your guests along to a final conclusion. But you all know your conclusion what you want to get already, right?
Your
So Daryl,
conclusion is
Yes.
my part, the DJ is not the focus here.
Yeah. This one no DJ. This one.
So what I'll do is I will start the first question that hey, welcome Hubert. Thank you for accepting that invite to be on our Facebook Live.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rosemary. It's always a pleasure to be here.
I said, looking back, we know each other for like over 20 years. So I'm just wondering, who is Hubert Tang today? From the time that I met you, over 20 years. So was there any change or any pivots in your life that you'd like to share? So from there you start lah.
Wow, that one you already asked for the question, you want to
One shot.
No, I mean that one already set the first.
Yeah.
Then after that when you talk, then if if we didn't cover any points, then what you do is Daryl will come in, ask a question or two, just to bring that conversation going.
Okay, anyway, you were not here the last time, so you can see all comments is going to come up from there. So you can see the live, you can see live.
So when one person, I will look at the comments.
Yeah. So keep the last time what we did was keep it casual. I mean, if you want to refer to see whether anything say hi to you, go okay. Not like the very first time start talking, people like so
serious at that.
So this one is okay. Anytime you take a glance at the TV, it's fine because it's Facebook Live. You just want it to be engaging. Yeah. So I think between
So
Krishna
we
and
will
myself,
pause
we
we
just-
pause anytime, then we say, hey, Hubert, there's an interesting hi from so and so. Would you like to say hi?
I think I want to stay away from that.
You want to stay away, huh?
I share with you why.
Bang.
If you say hi to one person,
Ah.
forget about the 1,000. Other than that, boring.
Mm.
Got no relevance to me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Party, ah.
whatever questions that we ask should be relevant to everybody listening. Yeah. So there's a value add for everyone. That was a mistake I used to make as well.
So I will look
Oh,
out for
Lawi,
interesting
cantik ah.
questions. I say,
Stay
hey,
away from
Hubert.
all those Hubert. No, last time I love you.
Yeah,
All those crazy ones.
Okay.
There's nobody.
I will script something for you.
There's an interesting question here.
I will script something for you to share during this because you know a bit wasted to not to highlight how we are different from every other training provider. Yes.
Then the good thing is like the easiest way is like if
Oh
there's
shit!
okay,
I told you what, daughter ma, father daughter show pao kena one. Really? I haven't even seen. No.
then we don't like waste time. Let's look
Wow.
at this.
Power
Then
die.
you lose the listener also. You know, like boring lah. Wait for you to go and find question.
Yes. Let's have more family stories. Maybe can even bring the inmates' family if they. If, I mean, if time if that COVID allows lah, but now not allow lah.
Oh, we like that.
Ah.
Can you tell us more?
Ah.
I think with the audience, the audience would love to hear more about this part. Just like us, we're so curious about this part.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where
I'll take a look.
people.
Can 20 minutes we going live.
Name the
Facebook.
person,
Say hi, yeah.
Princess
Bye bye.
question, right? I think this is an interesting question. So at least we give the person some acknowledgement. Then they feel the engagement.
So the thing is, let's say I'm asking or talking to him.
Yes.
You will look at the questions. We only pick up those interesting ones that can relate to everyone.
Can
Okay, then when you are talking to him, I will look at the question.
Can relate to
then we will
everyone.
ask interesting question that.
relating to his pivotal moments lah.
Yes.
Then you like saying, then we don't waste time. Well, let's look for a question now. Then you waste like 1 minute, 2 minutes looking for interesting question.
Can I you can as in you can appreciate the person, right? So if
We can say that hey, Chris has something interesting. Let's pause here and let's look at this question because I think this is something that is something that the rest of the audience may want to know too.
beautiful.
Yeah. So we will only take questions that we think that the audience, for the rest of the audience, are not the one that, but I love you. I used to love your
Please
station.
don't ask for that.
Huh?
I will shut you down. You don't. I will make you.
Pick question like, but I love your station. I used to be like DJ. That's like what Daryl wanted to be.
No, we never talk about DJ. DJ is podcast. DJ is.
No, just saying because.
In case you have that kind of.
In case that kind of somebody will go and say that kind of thing, then it becomes very self-serving already.
I understand.
So we pick relevant and valuable questions.
The other thing is that we just got to take note that maybe somewhere along the line you want to mention and say that we'll take questions. If we do miss it, we will still come back to you.
Yes.
Yeah, because some people will feel that, how come this one mine not important? Everybody will think their question is important.
And everybody want to hear.
Yeah, so I think we'll say that, and we'll just say that, okay, if we miss a question, we'll come back, that kind of thing.
Where?
6th floor, 8th floor,
Oh, that one is only for men, right?
A man got water, woman got flower pot. Man flower pot, man. Two flower pot away.
Let's go.
Hey, how come my girlfriend says she saw somebody in jacket? So it's already some other things are posted. The podcast is posted already.
Huh? 5 o'clock.
Picture that she
No,
saw.
we took them behind the same photo.
Oh, I see.
Kia see nang, I thought live on already. Now here all scolding people. Welcome to Through the Lens of Hubert Tang. Today we have a very special guest, Hubert Tang,
Thank you for having me, Daryl.
friend of Rosemary. Well, tell us a bit more about Hubert.
Hubert, remember, I think I know you like over 20 years. Remember the last time when we met 20 years ago?
Yes,
You want me to
yes,
show you the
yes.
photo?
What photo?
This photo?
Yes, it was that long ago. We knew each other when we went on a little trip to a little bone-shaped island, I remember, called Boracay. That's when
That
we
was a
first-
very long journey, right?
Yeah, it was.
It's tiring. Okay. So what? And before we start, right? I think thank you for accepting that invitation to join us for today's chat. Because I think I was just sharing with Daryl. I think because he's into that DJ thing, and I thought that I fulfill him this dream by having him to interview a DJ. Okay. But what we want to know is, who is Hubert Tang today? I haven't seen you for a while anyway.
Yes.
So maybe you can share what has pivoted in your life. And I think our friends out there would like to know, because none of us are seeing any updates from you from Facebook or any social media. So maybe this is the time for you to share with all of us what has happened from that 20 years till now.
There's so much to talk about, actually. Yeah, but you're right. I'm a pretty private person. I am an introvert, which probably will surprise a lot of people, but I am, and I like to keep my life very private. And which is why when I posted this on Facebook just last night at 1 a.m., I said it's time to come out of the closet, time to make a difference. And that's why I'm here, to make a difference. A lot has changed in my life, but most of it that's happened was within the last several years, in my 50s, no less. So a lot of young people say, oh, it's too late to do this and to do that. I said, no, it's never too late. Look, I'm embarking on this journey in my 50s right now. And currently, I work as an editor for a golf magazine called Golf Asia. That's my current position. But I'm also looking to pivot into a new direction. I've always been looking and searching. Let me just give you a little bit of background. My Chinese name is Wei Xiong, okay, which is 伟大的伟, 英雄的雄, and it's given to me by my paternal grandfather. And it's a very strong name. Basically, it means great hero, translated in English. And when I was growing up, I enjoyed reading comic books, and I always wanted to be a superhero to save the world. Then, you grow up, and then you learn that it's ridiculous to be wearing your underwear on the outside and trying to save the world, right? And people laugh at you. So, okay, let's get back to normal and be like everybody else. So that's where I came from. But deep down inside, I never knew that I'd lost that, or suppressed that desire to do something good with my life. And I was always searching. And I only found that my purpose about 6 to 7 years ago, when I was fortunate enough to meet my mentor. And I encourage every person to find a mentor. The greatest sportsmen in the world all have coaches, all have mentors. Why? The world number one in golf, Tiger Woods, who's been world number one for a long time, he had a coach too. Why? Because we can't see our blind spots. We need someone to see it for us. And sometimes what we see is colored through a certain type of lens.
Right.
And what we think, what we perceive is not necessarily what is reality. And we need the coach to look at it from an objective and neutral manner and say, look, this is what is actually happening, and how we can make it better.
Right.
Right? So, and my biggest epiphany was when, I was a selfish and pessimistic person deep down inside, and my mentor showed me that in every part of my life, in all the things that's happened, the stuff that I was not happy with, what was the common factor? I thought and I couldn't come up with the answer. Maybe you can think about it yourself, and what do you think the answer is? Okay, to cut a long story short, the answer is the one common factor was myself. Every step of the way it was me. So if I'm the common factor, does that not mean that I have to make some change within myself? And that was such an epiphany for me, and the clouds parted, and I realized, oh wow, that's when I started on my learning journey to developing self-awareness. And I really feel whatever it is that we start on in our life, it all begins with self-awareness. With self-awareness, we are able to catch ourselves before we do the things that we regret. I mean, all of us have regrets in our life.
Yeah.
A simple example is when someone says something that you don't like and you respond back reactively. I was a very reactive person. I was very in touch with my emotions, but not in a good way. I was in touch with my emotions, but not harnessing my emotions for good, you know, for self-productive good and to help others as well. I was letting my emotions control me, react and say angry things and respond to another person, and then I say it's that person's fault because why did they say that? Is that a common scenario?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Become
That
a
person said
victim,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'm saying this back to you. So what do you want to do about it? So that was me.
You know, I thank you, Hubert, for, well, kind of missed out the whole thing. So I wanted to start off by asking, because you have my dream job, right? It has always been a dream, and the fact that Rosemary brought up and asked, hey, would you like to speak to Hubert? I said, yes, of course. I would love to know more about this man that I grew up with. Well, only in my ears, because Hubert can only be heard and cannot be seen in that time. And I wanted to know what is in that life of a radio personality. I think also setting the context for our watchers. Yeah. Tell us a bit more about who was this Hubert that that inspires people through their ears in those days.
If you ask me, I really don't have an answer, because generally I went with the flow. Like I said, I was very reactive to whoever and whatever was around me. So if you ask me for an identity back then, I didn't. Okay, what I can tell you, there is a newspaper article about me floating out there, at least half a page of the Straits Times, I think, that size. And the headlines, I still remember that. It says, why do people hate Hubert Tang?
Oh.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, and it's an interview I did not want to do at all, because of the persona I projected on radio. People said I was sarcastic. There were people who liked it and said, oh, you know, that's real, and you're coming across as very authentic. But there were people who said, like, why are you so sarcastic? Why do you have to talk to people that way? And when I answered the phone, I wasn't like the rest of the other DJs. Say, hello, hi, this is Perfect 1098.7 FM. Good morning. How are you doing? I never like to answer the phone that way. I was like, hello, hi, 987 FM. So what can I do for you? What do you got? And there were people who called up and hung up, and I just react real. You know, it's like, how would you react if someone called you and hung up the phone?
Then you just say that, oh, must be a wrong number.
That's too nice. How would you react?
I'm never going to call again.
You're like, what the hell, right?
Yes.
That was my reaction on radio. So people say, hey, how can you react like that? I said, that's real. So that was me. And not everyone liked it. And so anyway, so that was me, and that was my persona, so to speak. So does that give you an idea of what my personality was like?
Yes.
Yeah. And also, I came up with a little campaign. Before every show, you know, you always hear DJs promoting themselves on radio. Like, hey, hi, I'm Hubert Tang on the home stretch, you know, listening to the home stretch, because we've got contests and you can win this and you can win great prizes. We've got this celebrity coming on and this personality, so listen in. We've got great music as well. Been there, done that. Everyone does that. So I had a very interesting conversation with a listener who called in and was ranting and raving, and I caught him and I recorded him without him knowing at that time, and put that conversation out on air. But I asked his permission after that. You know, I said, look, can I use this? And I had a brilliant idea. He started out by, when he called up, he said, Hubert Tang, I hate you. And I was stunned. That caught me off guard at first. Then as I spoke to him, I realized, hey, look, I can use this. So I created a little commercial that showcased the home stretch, and I started out with him saying that. And it was jarring, of course, at the start, and people, they definitely set up and took notice. And every time after that I went out, people actually didn't say hi, Hubert Tang. They said, Hubert Tang, I hate you. And I knew I got their attention, and they say, hey, thanks for the compliment. So that's the way I like to approach things, from a different perspective. Out of the box, yes, I guess you could say that. Yeah.
So, now that we are done with the past, who is Hubert today? And who is he to everyone? Do they still hate you?
I'm sure there are still people who hate me. Because through my years, I made my fair share of mistakes. And there are people, of course, that don't like me, or perhaps even stronger than that, more than don't like, you know. So, but where I am now today, I'm moving in a different direction. My mentor at that time, Lim Meng Hai, he said to me, look, Hubert, your past does not define you, right? It does not define who you can be. Because, honestly, I was afraid to put myself out there. You can say, sure, but you're in the limelight, you're a personality. Yeah, we're all afraid. I didn't want people to know too much about me because I felt I was being judged. I felt I was being judged. In fact, later on I discovered that I was actually just judging myself. Right? My mentor asked me, like, look, people judging you, did they tell you that? Or is that currently in your own head and you're projecting it onto them? I said, oh yeah, it's actually me projecting. And from there, I started to come out of the shell and started to realize that I could do good. I realized that all my experiences in my life that I was fortunate enough to go through, to become a DJ on a radio station, on many radio stations, English radio stations for 20 years, and then moving and pivoting to become editor of a golf magazine, to moving to writing, right? And then going through the life-changing personal experience in my 50s, learning self-awareness, learning to be calmer, to be quieter in my mind, to listen to understand first before speaking. Because honestly, this was so important to me. I thought I was a great communicator being on radio. Then I realized and I learned that I wasn't. I was just a person who talked, and I expected people to listen. And when I listened, I wasn't listening. I was listening. Maybe I should put it this way. What my mentor said to me, are you listening, Hubert? Are you listening to respond, or are you listening to understand? And I was like, oh my gosh, I was blown away. So what does that mean? So I had to learn how to sit down, listen all the way through the conversation, or to the point where the person pauses and finishes his point, and then assimilate before I come up with a response and say, okay, can I understand it's this, and this is what you're trying to say, and well, okay, can I share this?
Yeah.
And that. And that was a great change in my life, learning to listen to understand. And how it impacted me was that, first of all, it changed my relationship with my mother. So I said here that through the lens today with Hubert Tang, I would talk about love, life, and self-mastery. So with my mother, I've never really had a good relationship. We've always, since I was young, not been able to communicate. I get very irritated with her very easily. Does that sound familiar to anyone?
Yes.
Yeah, and I've never said I love you to my dad, who passed on. That was my biggest regret. I never said, in his whole life, he never heard me say I loved him. And then to my mom. And when I had developed my self-awareness in my 50s, and I said, my gosh, Hubert, you didn't do it with your dad. Can you please do as much as you can with your mother right now? So I finally told my mom I loved her for the first time, and I put my arms around to hug her. And you know what was my mom's reaction when I reached out to hug her? Can you imagine this? She was shocked and she pushed back like this. What are you doing? Because she'd never experienced that from her son before. But now, I can text her, I can, with an emoji, kiss and heart and tell her I love her. It was difficult to do at first. But the thing was that taking that first step, and by doing it more often it's become commonplace. And I tell my mom I love her, and she accepts it. Yeah.
I have this question on my mind. But before we do that, for the listeners and the watchers out there, if you do have questions, please feel free to put up the questions, and we will ask Hubert at the end of this particular segment. In the meantime,
For our friends, I'd like to say for our friends,
Our
because you are a friend if you're tuning in right now, right? Thank you for your time.
that tells you why it's my dream job, right? Well, well, Hubert, just now you mentioned about being judged, and I think this is something that I also want to know how, or I'm just wondering to myself, is this something that I feel, and is it the same? When was the last time you felt judged, and how did that feel like?
When was the last time I felt judged?
Yeah.
Oh, simple. Right before I posted Through the Lens with Hubert Tang on Facebook. My Facebook account is inactive. It's not very active. I haven't used it for a long time because I want to be private. So when I decided to put it out, I was like, should I, shouldn't I? And I was judging myself. And I said, look, put it out there. The people on Facebook are your friends, and they're friends for a reason, right? And the real friends, the good friends, will understand and stand by me. If I make a mistake, so be it. I'm sorry. I apologize. If you're my friend, would you accept it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I realized that by doing so, I can help people because what I went through, I'm sure everybody goes through. We've all got the same emotions. We all feel who hasn't said to himself, why are you so stupid? I said that to myself all the time. Whenever I made a mistake, why are you so stupid? And you did it again? We're always self-chastising ourselves, you know? And I learned to move past that. And a lot of that was through the help of a mentor. And I realized that we should praise ourselves because we should encourage ourselves. Just like we encourage a child. If we have a child, a daughter or a baby, would we scold the baby? No, unconditional love. We just shower love on the baby, good, bad, whatever the baby does, because it's a bundle of joy. I am my own bundle of joy. So why don't I nurture my inner child rather than chastise myself? Encourage myself to do good. Why should I encourage myself to do good? Because if I do good, then I'm reaching out to others and inspiring others to move and take some action for themselves. I think that's important. I'd like to say that I don't want to just inspire. There are many people who inspire, but I want to inspire and move you to take that action for yourself, to do something with your life. Because I was searching and I was inspired. I met many quotes, but I never did anything with my life because I didn't know how to, and there was no one to take me by the hand and lead the way for me. So I'm very thankful for a mentor.
So when you did that first step to even post it, right, what were you expecting your friends to say, and were there any expectations set for yourself, you know, okay, this is what they will be saying and this is how I'm going to respond, or you just, you know, let it be and just go with the flow?
Just let it be. Let it go with the flow. No expectations. No expectations, no disappointments. This is what I learned.
Okay.
So I just put it out there. No noise in my head. Don't do any self-talk. Just put it out there. Whatever happens, happens. Just know I put it out there. Why? I asked myself, first of all, okay, Hubert, so why are you doing this? Through the lens. I read what I wrote myself. All that. I read it to myself and I said, this is why you're doing this. So for goodness sake, put it out there. You never know who you're going to help.
You know, there's this part where, I mean, you mentioned about a bit about self-talk and getting rid of all this noise. I face that quite substantially as well, as I try to live my mission of helping people one at a time. But, you know, that judgment comes very regularly. Am I good enough? Am I ready? Are the people really going to be receptive, or am I just going to be a clown out there talking to nobody? How do you deal with that?
Oh, simple. Really simple. Just focus, channel. First, quiet the mind. And you don't have to ask yourself all those questions. Just focus on that one thing that you want to achieve. What is the purpose of Through the Lens with Hubert Tang? Why are you here? That's the question I'm always asked. Why are you here? You know, it doesn't matter what it is. Do you know of people who walk into a conference or a meeting and then after a while they start to lose their attention and they check their phones? Yeah, I used to do that too. And then my mentor asks, why are you here? Why did you take all that time to come down here today and sit down here for the half a day to play with your phone? Oh, straight away it's like, oh yeah, pay attention. You know? So as simple as that. Why are you here? Look, there are people watching us right now.
Yes.
Do we have a responsibility towards them?
Yes.
Are you going to naturally be a clown?
Probably.
Not. Yeah. So, we are here for a purpose. We have that one golden precious hour. All that time that we have is to deliver to whoever's watching. I'm not here to talk about myself. I'm here to talk about myself in a way to inspire and move others. To take that action, to realize that you're not alone. I, who was a radio personality, I am also human. I have the same feelings. And sometimes when we are in a position of being a personality or a celebrity, we are even more vulnerable. Because sometimes we compensate to be larger than life. And that's why you see us as larger than life, and that's why you like us. But it's a compensation for something else that's missing secretly deep down inside.
That's true.
Look at
That
Robin
is-
Williams.
yeah.
Robin Williams. Tragic case. He was the third most successful comedian, most loved comedian in the world, the third most loved comedian in the world. Yet, he felt no one loved him, and he took his own life.
Were there points like that that you felt down at the bottom of that?
No, I didn't, but I had my low points for sure. I'm fortunate that I didn't. I was searching, but I spent a lot of time searching, and I'm so fortunate now that I have the opportunity to move my life in a new direction, to help others. Yeah, I failed in many, many, many things, but what I realized that failure is about learning, and failure is the step to success. Look, we wouldn't be flying today. Well, we're not flying now, but you know what I mean. We would not be flying in airplanes today if the Wright brothers had decided to quit after that first crash when they took that first flight, right? We wouldn't have light bulbs if Thomas Edison had not gone through those experiments thousands and thousands of times before he finally came up with the light bulb. So these were lessons that were shared with me before as well. So I was like, wow, that's true. So why do we quit after we try it once and say it doesn't work? Doesn't make sense. Going by that logic, if you go back to school, the first day you enter primary 1, right? And the teacher asks you a question, and then you cannot answer that question in primary 1, fail, that's it, out, that's it, no more. Isn't that the same analogy? But we don't. We continue, right? And if we fail, we get a second chance, and the teacher will try to help us, and we continue to primary 6 to secondary school, all the way through to university. And there's so many failures along the way. Who hasn't failed in school at one thing or another, sports, education, something or another, at some point in their life in education? But we never stop until we finally stand there with that degree, holding the role and, wearing the mortar hat. So why do we quit the moment we try something new and say, no, it doesn't work? After one time, there's no logic to that.
Interesting. Hubert, I think there's a question by Jason.
Oh, questions
Yeah.
already, okay.
Because, you mentioned that you an editor in golf, and he's asking, what have you learned in golf which which you believe you can apply to being a better person?
Oh, wow, that's
deep.
No,
Thank you,
I love that question, because what have I learned in golf? Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. Exactly what I just said. Just keep trying. I mean, during the lockdown, I couldn't quite go outside to the golf course. So what I did at home, I had a putting mat, and I practiced putting. And then I said, okay, I'm bored of practicing putting. I actually started chipping on the putting mat, which is like a no-no. Because if you miss the ball And I used real golf balls. It can fly straight and break things, you know. But I started, and now I realize that I found so many different ways to chip on a golf mat. And I made it a goal to be able to chip into the hole as well. So what I learned through golf is that just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Even if you fail, you know this is the wrong way. Try it a different way, right? What did Einstein say? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And that is the perfect analogy to apply to golf. Golfers do the same thing over and over again, the same way, and say, how come it doesn't work? How come my ball doesn't go straight? Because you're still swinging the same way? So why not try something different, something new? And keep at it until it clicks. I realized one thing about learning. Learning is not linear. You flatline, suddenly you have an epiphany, and something clicks, boom, it just goes up like that. Then it plateaus again.
True.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. You play some golf yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lousy golf.
Still.
Yeah. You know, when we went Boracay, he's the only one that came so enthusiastic with all his golf clubs and everything. You know. He was the only one. And we all look at him like, okay.
Yeah, she was in a bikini. I was the only one who
I
wore
know,
gloves.
no.
Where's that up?
Yeah. So, yeah. Golf is a very interesting game, and it's very interesting if you use it as a takeaway each time you play.
I do. Yeah, so when I learn something new in golf, I think about it in golf terms, then I think about it in life terms,
Yes,
on
how
a
to
personal
apply
thing.
it,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So having said that, where's Hubert going today?
Wow. Where am I going today? While I was searching, I attended a few courses, some courses that were conducted by Anthony Robbins, and one that was called X Factor. And I learned some things. And one of the biggest things I learned was from Anthony Robbins, that what you know is so valuable that you can share with other people. Your life experience is unique. And he talked about self-education, the self-education industry. We don't need to have certificates to make it in life. There are many people who do, especially now in this new economy. I see the world in a different way now. You know, you have the traditional industrial revolution, and that's very much still in place. It's been in place for 100 odd years, right? And that's the way we work. The traditional way of getting a job, climbing through the ladder and all that. And you need all your certificates to get to the next level. But then I realized that there's another way. There's another ecosystem that's existing right now, and that's courtesy of places like YouTube. Look at how many people who are superstars now. They don't have an education. They basically had a passion, and they basically loved what they're doing, and they shared it with others. Home cooks are sharing recipes with other people, and people like me are going on there and lapping up what these home cooks are showing, and I'm learning something new. So, you see, there is all this that's happening, and that we can take away and we can use to change our lives. We can learn from each other, leverage on each other, and be more than what we can be by ourselves.
That's very beautiful.
1 + 1 = 3.
But I thought 1 + 1 is never equals to 3. I thought it was more
That's
than
why I
that.
failed in
Yes.
school. Yeah, I failed maths. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very beautiful thought of being more human-centered and being, thinking of each person one at a time.
It's true. I'd like to say this, that yes, and I think what really is lacking here, and this is why I'm doing this right now, I think what's really lacking in Singapore itself is that human-centered thinking. We are so focused on numbers, on stats, and everything logical, and using law, and we can justify everything with all of these. The numbers, the logic, the stats, and, it makes total sense. But are you moved? Your head agrees, but your heart does not. Your heart is not moved. And really, it's the heart that moves, not the head.
Yeah.
Any buying experience, anybody who buys anything, for example, let's say a very high-end luxury handbag or a super sports car that costs like $2 million. Is it a logical
No.
decision?
No.
Never.
It's an emotional decision. I like it. What do you buy? Because I like it. You know, the feeling I get when I step on the accelerator. Why did you buy that handbag? Oh, the feel. Oh my gosh. You know, when I carry it, I feel like a totally different person. Does it make any logic? Is there any? No. But it's the emotion. So why are we not centering on the heart? And that's what really my life transformation was about. It's about speaking to my heart, speaking to myself, and letting my heart come out. Go from selfish to selfless to giving first, right? And by giving, I get so much more. Because I used to be selfish in love, which is like, if I'm in a relationship and she wasn't there for me, or she wasn't around, like why, or she said something to me, that, why you have to say that? Don't you love me? That's a selfish love. Isn't it? It's almost like emotional blackmail. Don't you love me? Like, what do you mean? Of course I love you. Yeah, then why you treat me like that? Well, why now? If now it's different for me. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I say something to hurt you? Right? And one of the questions I learned that helped me reframe myself was, how can I do this better? Especially in an argument. This is the one thing I learned, which is so powerful, that in love, when anyone is in love, the honeymoon period, everything's fine. Yeah? So I realized that one thing, to know how much a person truly, truly loves you, you make the person angry. And if the person can still show you love and say to you, darling, I love you, and kiss you when you ask for it, when the person is angry, that person truly loves you. Isn't it true?
That's quite a thought.
Isn't it true? If you had a child, you know, and you're really angry at the child for doing something that, you know, you came back to the whole house, opened the fridge, everything is on the floor. Would you be upset? Of course you would be. But the child, I'm sorry, Daddy, don't you love me? Kiss me, please. Would you?
No.
No, okay. Would you?
Yes, of course.
Of course. He's like, okay, I forgive you. Like, okay, now you know, see, don't do this, right? But the whole point is, when that person is willing to express love to you, even at their most upset, or even better, when I'm angry, you ask me to do something, I can do even more for you. Or let's say I upset you, the other way around. If I upset you, I will try harder, even when you're upset with me, and I will take the initiative. I know it's hard to do, it sounds impossible. Yep. I went through that. The key is, how did I do it? And why did I do it? Again, it goes back to self-awareness. Going from selfish to selfless. Yeah. Starting by giving first. It is not an easy process. It is not at all. But I started by doing a little bit first. Giving first, I asked that question. Use logic. When I use logic to reprogram my heart, right? Through the brain, rewire the brain, and the brain connects to the heart, and the conscious will rework the subconscious, and then it becomes a being.
Well, I just wanted to ask, have you felt love?
Yes, I have.
Tell us a bit more about that experience of love for you to make you so selfless today and having this mission. How did that feel like? Do you have an experience of that?
You're going somewhere very deep. Oh, gosh. Love starts with myself, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. It basically starts. If you're expecting me to say it's about somebody out there, yes, there is. But basically, it started with me, myself, and I. I had to learn to love myself first. Stop criticizing myself. Stop telling myself that I'm stupid and questioning myself and doubting myself, and saying, look, you can do good. You know, take that first step, Hubert. Right? It's okay. If you make the mistake, hey, you made already so many. We made 1,000 mistakes. What's 1,001? Yeah. What's another mistake? Right? Because, yeah, you will find that solution. Penicillin didn't come with one experiment and one, you know, it wasn't an overnight thing. Yeah. So it started with self-love, and then acceptance. Acceptance of who I am. What was it that Eng Hai said to me? He said, love someone not for who they are, but for who they can be. And I was like, wow, yeah. Don't look at them as who they are now. Look at them for what they can be. And then you can learn to love them even more, right? Because they have the potential. Do you feel that you have the potential? Yes, I do. Yeah. That's why I'm here to help you too.
That's beautiful.
So
Loving
beautiful that, you know, for men to say all this, right? You know how men are always just using the mind to say everything, and then it's always logic, it's never from the heart.
Yeah.
So coming from Hubert, that, you know, all these words, it's like I'm talking to another lady. You know, it's like, okay, am I talking to Hubert now? Okay.
Thank you. I think that's a real compliment because, yes, I agree with you entirely. Guys are driven by logic. But if you can
Yes.
just get in touch with your heart and bring it out just a little bit more, day by day, and it doesn't matter. That's how I started doing it. Okay, I came up with this little phrase for myself that to be a better man today than I was yesterday, and to be a better man tomorrow than I am today. Yeah. And to forgive myself also if I did not progress day by day, because it's okay. Even if out of 10 days, I only progress one day, it's better than 0 days. But of course, I want to progress more than that lah. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So that's what I told myself, to always try and be a little bit better each day. And forgive myself if today I didn't do. Maybe tomorrow double up. Yeah.
What was the toughest thing to forgive yourself of?
To forgive myself for being me in the past, for the past 50 years, all the mistakes I made, for all the things that I did to the people, the wrongs, the mistakes, the hurt. Yeah.
Wow.
So I really thank God that He never hurt me. He never made me unfriend Him, right? I mean, it's over 20 years.
Yes.
And I'm so surprised that, you know, we still, when we meet up, it's still like old times, right? So,
Yes.
yeah, I don't know how it does, but it just feels the same.
I think I can tell. There are some people when you meet in your life that you know that you share something with them. You may not know what it is, but the moment you meet them, you say, "I like you," right? You are, "Oy, better stay away." I'm just kidding, of course. But just as an example, you know what I mean? You just feel like, no matter how, because there was someone I knew who was really super nice, but somehow inside I felt like something not quite right about this guy. His niceness is too nice, or I don't know, is it artificial nice, or I don't know. I couldn't. And later on, I found out that well, it was all a front. So things like that, you know. But really, we shouldn't be looking for things like that.
Yeah.
We should be positive. Everyone, there is good in
Embrace
everyone. Yeah, we
everyone,
should
yeah.
embrace, but be real about it as well.
Yes.
Because sometimes I also realize that we rationalize for the people in our lives, for the mistakes that we make, and we hang around with people that we shouldn't be hanging around with anymore. And this is one thing, that was my big mistake in life. I was too sentimental and I hung on, you know, and even though logically it's time to let go, I couldn't let go. So I learned that, okay, look, it's better if you let go, because clinging on is going to hurt you and hurt the other person even more. Right?
True.
There's much more to life. It's like riding a horse and dragging a dead weight behind you. You're never going to get anywhere.
True.
When you got to cut it, you got to cut it. Right? Yeah.
That's a very interesting topic about cutting off a person from a life.
Yeah. It's not being cruel. I used to think that's being cruel. It's not. You're actually being kind. Right? And the person may or may not realize it and may say hurting things, because I said hurting things to the people who cut me out of their lives. But later on I realized that was meant to be. Yeah, so I could move on.
So be it.
Yeah.
How did that? Tell us a bit more about how that in the end panned out when you decided to make that decision to cut out that person in your life, without naming names, of course. How did that feel like, and how did you make that step?
It's not easy. Look, it's not easy. I think in these times, people are aware, especially the world that we live in now, losing jobs and all. If you're a boss or you're a supervisor, if you've ever had to cut anyone at this time, and say, sorry, I can't keep you under a payroll anymore. I think you know that feeling. So it's similar in that sense. It's not easy to do, but you got to think about, focus on what it will do for you and that person down the road. By holding on, that person doesn't have a chance to move in another new direction. It's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's insanity. Why do that?
Well, we've seen that, how you hold on to something and then you expect that thing to just drop off from you rather than you cut it off.
Yeah, and we rationalize as well. It's like, oh, maybe this will happen, maybe that will happen, but it never happens. The heart the head rationalizes, but your heart can feel it,
Yes.
like, hey,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Wow. That is very difficult, I would imagine, even for ourselves. We had one question talking about from Alfred, I think.
Hey, Alfred.
Well, Alfred was asking, how do you deal with a child that
Play
coming home
truant.
and plays truant?
How would you advise the parents?
Have you been there?
No, I don't
way.
don't have any children. How would you?
No, have you played truant?
I think that's irrelevant. Go ask my principal. Okay?
Come on, we all have.
Go and ask the principal. No, to answer you, no. Okay? To the question at hand, yeah, okay, I don't have a child, but how do you deal with a child that plays truant? Let me ask
Advise
you.
the parents, actually.
What would be, how would you deal with it? What's the traditional way of dealing with it as a
Oh,
parent?
wow.
So my daughter did a truant thing in I think she was in P4 or P5. And
What
then,
did you do?
Okay, I didn't do anything. So I received a call from her discipline master or mistress, and she called me. She said, your daughter your daughter was found to be playing truant. Then I said, okay, this is what I will tell you to do. Please punish her. Okay, go ahead and punish her. Right? You have my word. I will not say anything. You go and punish her. And then the next thing I know, she had a chat with my daughter. She pato the rest of the people, and she was spared.
So your daughter was smart. Okay.
So my daughter who's listening in, if she's listening, I'm telling your story.
So how I would deal with it, I don't see it as a child. I see it as a person. First of all, I think that's the most important thing. Because 8 years old, 80 years old, 18 years old, 38 years old, we're all people. We're all individuals. It's not a child, a man or a woman. We're all individuals with the same emotions. I think the first things first, just sit down. Okay, I know this happened, and is there anything you want to tell me about? Let them have the opportunity to talk. Now, this is the most important thing, which I also had experienced recently, and I realized this. If the person is not ready to speak to you, don't press the matter.
Right.
No. You, come on, I know something's up. That's why, if they don't open up, they don't open up.
Yes.
Let it be. Let them go to their room, right? But maybe leave them with just a word. All right, I get where you're coming from. Or maybe I don't get where you're coming from, but this is how I feel as a father. I feel sad and confused. I don't know why you did that. When you're ready, please come and share with me. I like to use the word share because I really learned this. Talk.
Yeah.
I think does share sound better?
Yes.
Yeah. If you're ready, come and share with me. I'm here for you. Yeah. And please don't say no judgment.
Yeah. No, so for me, I always tell them that, in life, it's all about choices.
Yeah.
And there's always consequences.
Absolutely.
So if you choose to go that route, then you just have to face that consequences. That is why, I said that, I tell your discipline mistress, go ahead, punish you. Okay? Because that is a consequence that you need to take, because the choice is that you'd rather play truant than stay in school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you make that choice, you face it yourself, and then in the end, I think it's good for them, because then they know that everything that they do is all about choice and consequences.
Exactly right. That's the next step. Right after what I would say exactly what she said. Choices. You have a choice. Whatever the choice is, you face the consequences. Right? I'm here to support you as a parent. I'll always be here for you because you are my child. But you got to know, if you make this choice, that is the consequences. That is the way of the real world, right? So if you want to do this out there in the real world, this is how the real world will treat you. So are you ready for that? So which path do you want to walk down? You decide, right? If you still enjoy playing truant, by all means, go ahead. I'm not endorsing it. I'm just saying that this is the choice you make. If you face it, you come to me, I'll still be here for you, but you will got to face whatever consequences there is that comes with it.
Yeah.
I have a different approach with if my daughter were to really play truant. I look at truancy as a similarity. I can correlate truancy with losing attention in class, because generally you play truant only if the class bores you, isn't it? You wouldn't be running away from class if it is super exciting, would you?
No?
Really?
Yeah?
Why? You don't like someone in there?
Hey, Daryl, come let's
Okay.
go let's go catch a movie
That one different question. Okay.
Put the book down. Shh.
Or you wing some girls,
Hey,
right?
my-
You're
my-
just going for
Yeah, oh, she texts me. Hey, I need to go and buy a rose for her. Valentine's
My
Day.
first truancy experience was through my brother. He brought me out to play truant. So we literally left the school and then we ran down to Upper Serangoon Shopping Centre, if I'm not wrong. I was along the schools around there. But having said that, no, I would look at my daughter and I would really want to discover where she is not gaining what she really wants. Maybe there's not enough value. Maybe there's not enough excitement for her.
Look, the question was simply to ask me how I would have dealt with it. And that's how I would have dealt with it. Is it right? Is it wrong? No. This is what I share. Whatever works for you. If it gets the desired result, it's what works. And that's what you want. It doesn't matter if you disagree with that method or you disagree, it was my method, it worked for you. Yours, by choices, if it works for you, great. Right? And if yours is about finding out what the attention, the lack of attention is, great. You know, and if she stopped, the whole point is if all the children stop the truancy and they're back in class, it works. So whatever works as a parent. But the main thing first I want to say is just give that individual, your child, the space to understand, right? And it doesn't happen overnight. I realize it because it didn't happen overnight with me. For me to make that personal change in my life, that transformation, took me 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years. And then to keep sharpening the saw, as it is said in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes.
Keep sharpening the saw, right? Keep doing it until it becomes second nature. So that's one thing I'd like to share as well, about the learning curve, right? Learning curve and the valley of despair, right? The valley of despair is always when we come to it, you know, we take that journey and we say, oh, the goal is there, and then we come there, suddenly, oh, there's a huge valley here. It's only like 10 feet across, but do you jump across? No. Yeah, but then I tell you, you got to go all the way down here and then go up again. Okay, yeah, I'm committed, I'll do it. So you go all the way down, then when you reach the bottom, you look up, oh my God. Then you try to and you're stuck in the valley of despair. And then you will never get over to the other side. And if you're fortunate enough, you can turn around, go back up the other side, and you turn and walk away. That's what learning is about, and that's how we fail. Because we give up too easily. We try once and we say it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Well, I was sharing with Daryl earlier about this, that have you seen anyone, any human on this living earth who does not walk on 2 feet, but crawls around on the ground like a baby? No. Because all of us started out as babies crawling and learning how to walk. And we fell, how many times did we fall? We don't even remember how many times we fell. But eventually we got up and at 2 feet, we walked unsteadily until we finally walked.
Yeah.
And how long does that take for a baby to learn how to walk?
Some are quite fast, you know,
On
depending on average. To me, I feel that it's just a couple of days.
Couple of days, fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, but the point here is, in the end, that we keep falling, but we still get up. Have you ever seen anyone say, fall one time as a baby? No, hey.
I don't want.
I don't want to walk anymore. I'm not going to walk. I'll crawl for the rest of my life, you know. It's safer, closer to the ground. Nobody. So why do we behave that way as adults? Try one time, doesn't work, say no, thank you.
True.
Doesn't make sense.
It's true.
Well, as we are fast approaching the final 10 minutes.
Wow, is it been
Yeah,
that?
exactly,
Wow.
you know, right? So actually, well, I want to jump straight to the last question I want to ask you. What is that mission of Hubert Tang today?
My mission is to share, to really come out of the closet and share that, look, don't see me as a celebrity. I've never liked to use that word, or a radio personality. I'm just as human as you.
Yeah.
And I've had my fair share of mistakes, right? Whatever you see for any personality or celebrity, it's a media construct. Whoever Hubert Tang is that you heard on radio, whoever Hubert Tang is that you read about in the papers or in 8 Days of the magazines, it's all a media construct. They only write about what they want to write, that they want to share with the readers. You don't hear about the hurt, the divorces, or the suicidal thoughts that people have. You know, in fact, my schoolmate recently, Adrian Pang, right? He came out, he was suicidal and he went through depression. So, you see? And that was actually a trigger for me to come up with this as well, to say, hey, look, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but self-judgment, and I wasn't sure if I was ready yet. And I said, when I saw that article about Adrian Pang and his mental health in the papers, how he was suicidal, especially last year, and how, you know, he went through so many failures, he felt so down, and he finally had to seek professional help. I said, look, there is professional help, and there is also help from fellow human beings. It's not always about the logic, or you have to have a paper, or you have to be qualified about it. By going through that life experience, you already have the qualifications to do so. Because you've experienced it, and you know what to tell. Hey, don't step that way. You know, if I walk through a minefield successfully, I can tell the fella behind, you know, hey, don't step to the left, huh? Is that fella going to ask me, where's your certificate? Prove to me that you got a certificate that says that you know how to walk through the minefield. Nobody. Will you trust me with your life then if I tell you I walked through the minefield, you saw me do it?
Yes.
And you say, yeah, I tell you step left, you step left or not? You will step left, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Hubert. Well, there is this one question that's very interesting from Alfred.
Alfred, hey,
Alfred,
hi, Alfred.
again, you know, Hubert, in this pandemic, what would be the best business to start?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm the right person to say that. But if you ask me that, well, Anthony Robbins has said that it's the best business is to do self-education. I can't remember, he said how many billions of dollars it's going to be worth. And you just have to open your eyes. Look, when you're on YouTube, how many ads do you see about people saying, look, I've done this, I can help you, and all that? And how many videos have you seen of home cooks, you know? And that's why I said there's a new ecosystem out there. And it's called the internet. And the internet is leveling the playing field, taking all the big corporations out of the picture, right? It is people power. People helping each other directly, not through a middleman, not through an educational institution, not through a financial institution. It's direct interaction, person to person.
Back to human-centeredness.
So a people-centered, a human-centered business.
Yeah.
Would probably
You help me, I help you. And we help everybody together. Look at a beehive. There's one queen. But what does the queen do? She just stays in the hive, right? And makes more baby bees. The rest, they work together, going out individually, finding the flowers, coming back, doing their little bee dance. And then the rest interpret it, okay, let's all go there. There's more flowers that way, you know, to get the honey and the nectar, and they come back. And then together, they will work as one. And the proof that they really work as one, you try attacking a beehive and see what happens.
Oh, no.
Does one bee come out and attack you?
No?
No. They come out as a swarm, one living unit, and they attack you.
Oh.
Nice analogy.
Right? So together, we can. It's about leverage. I realize it's all about leverage these days. You may be good at this, you may be good at that, and I'm good at something else. And I'm weak in many, many things. But your strength covers for my weaknesses, and your strength covers for my weaknesses, and my strengths cover for both your weaknesses. Isn't that powerful?
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Goes back to that 1 + 1.
Yeah. So what
Equals to
yeah.
many.
Yeah, 1 + 1 equals to many. So what is the best business to start? I think you have to answer yourself. You just have to open your eyes, open your ears, and be open to it. Cut out the noise and forget about, oh, I'm scared of this, I'm scared of that, don't this, don't that. I was just sharing with Daryl early on. Start with, what do I want and how can I achieve it? How can I achieve it? Focus on that one thing. Forget about all the noise. The noise just serves to stop us. Every time we say no, when do we ever start doing anything? When we start saying yes, do things happen? That was the first thing that I learned, to start saying yes. It was very strange. Like, why do people just keep saying yes? How come? Because when we talk, notice in any conversation with someone, invariably someone will come up with this 3 words. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Is that very inherent in Singaporean conversation? No, 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 no. Yeah.
No, no, no.
It's always like that.
Well, yes.
How does that make you feel? If you talk to me and I say, no, 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 no. And then I tell you what you want to tell me, which I don't know about, but I think I know. Right?
And most often you don't go to the people who really know the subject that you want to talk about. You go to your friends, you go to people, expect them to know like everything. You are getting the wrong, you may get the wrong advice, right?
Oh, speaking of advice, one of the best advice I remember is like, right, the people that are closest to you are the people that will least listen to you.
Wow.
Yes.
Remember that? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The people that love you the most are the ones that will least listen to you. Okay? It's got something to do. It's a very special and magical relationship.
Right.
I don't think there's much time to explain it here, but go and look it up. Right? The people who love you the most are the ones who will least listen to you and support you, because they will always give you the best, they think is the best advice that you should do. Yeah, what did your parents ask you to be? Be a doctor, be an engineer, be a this, be a that. Was that what you wanted to be? No, but it's good for you because daddy is a doctor, you know. You see, look at that. Or you look, your uncle is a lawyer, no, you see, it's good for you, you know, you'll be very successful. But that's not what I want. Yeah, I know, that one, never mind. Become the doctor first, right? Then later on, you want to do what? You got money, you can do whatever you want.
You sound like a true parent.
True daddy.
True daddy, right?
I mean, well, I experienced it. So, you know, so understand that sometimes you got to stay true to your vision. I was afraid to embark on this path. And I actually shared this in my family group chat. I was also like, should I click share, not share? I did, you know. What happened? One response, doesn't matter. It's okay. I realized this also, which I learned from my media days. There is the silent majority. If nobody responds, it's okay, because most people do not respond, right? Beyond like on Facebook, a thumbs up. But that is irrelevant. But if you talk about actual taking action to respond, very few people do that. Like for this when I shared this on Facebook, there were many likes. But I realized one thing about that. Likes do not translate into action.
Yes.
A like is just a like. They're not going to do anything.
I just acknowledge it. And
Yeah, I just acknowledge it. It's like, okay, yeah, right, and okay, thank you. It's a polite way of saying, well done. Okay, now I carry on my life.
Well, thank you very much, Hubert. As we are reaching our final minute, I just want to give you that 1 minute to share your word of advice to our friends out there who has really spent all this time listening to us, and those that haven't listened. What would that be?
Hold on to that dream and strike out for that dream. If your dream isn't big enough to scare you, right? If your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. It needs to scare you. Why? Because when it's that big and we only achieve 50% of that, that's so much more than where we started, which is that one little pin dot. But if we limit ourselves and say, okay, let me be conservative and you achieve that, oh my gosh, it's so much smaller than the 50% that I could have achieved, which was my actual dream was this big, right? So overachieve, strike for that. And this is what I want to share, that please be inspired to take some action in your life, yeah? And please listen to understand first before deciding what to say or to do. Please don't listen to respond. Or rather, be positive about it, Hubert. Please listen to understand. Listen not to respond.
Thank you very much, Hubert, for coming to share with us here today. Well, through the lens of Hubert, this is one of the episodes that we're having. Over the next few weeks, we'll also be having several other episodes with different guests that will share with us through their lenses how they live their lives. So join us in our next episode. Well, today's episode was brought to you by Design Thinkers Academy and the Design Thinking Conference, Asia Conference 2022, which would come in 2022, and we will let you know very soon. So with that, thank you very much, Hubert, for the time that you spent with us and for all these inspirational insights.
Thank you very much, Daryl. It was not original. This is all that I learned from my mentor. And the simple thing is just copy and paste. When we copy and paste, we can share with the world.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rosemary. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, guys. Thank you, friends.
Thank
Love you
you.
all.